Under the lights on Friday night, information competition with AA fuel dragsters going against funny cars.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, July 6, 2014. It's time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 632.
This is No Agenda.
The fix is in and we're on it. From Team Region 6 here in the Travis Heights hideout in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the fix is in and we're in it, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Hell yeah! Yeah, we're good, man. We are just good.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much talent does it take once you figure it out.
Once you know how it works, doesn't take any talent. But let me just explain what we're talking about. So yesterday, the Netherlands beat Costa Rica in a mind-numbing 0-0 game. Everyone's tweeting me. Oh, John must love this 0-0 game. I said, tweet him, not me. I don't want to know about you. 0-0. A fantastic strategy to replace the goalie in the last minute of overtime. The Netherlands, they're crazy. They can't believe it.
Now, who is it? Now, the Netherlands, the Dutch are the ones who replaced the goalie?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let me get this straight. So the goalie maintains a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
And they swap him out.
Yeah, because they knew that they were going to go for penalty kicks. And so they wanted the fresh guy in, which is...
they wanted to get a little quicker on it.
Well, this was a make or break strategy. And it's funny because I was doing
You have to add some sort of drama to it.
Well, totally. And Miss Mickey's watching this thing, and she's and I was out running some errands. I come back, she's like, "Oh, come on, the game is great." I'm like, "Where's Mickey? Who are you?" He never watches sports, right? So but she's watching it on Telemundo, which I have to say enhances the viewing experience.
Yeah, there was a Simpsons parody of soccer once in one of the really old episodes. It was a while ago, not the more recent one where they talk about the corruption.
Right.
And they had these guys watching the game, and there's nothing going on. Just two guys kicking the ball back. There's absolutely nothing going on in the field. And then they have the American announcer going in, Bills, and Jenkins kicks it to Roscoe, and Roscoe kicks it to Jenkins. And then they switch over to the Telemundo guys who are screaming their heads off as though this is the most exciting thing ever.
So I don't even understand that much Spanish, except vacunados, which apparently is not a real Spanish word.
They also say, "Go!"
Yeah, they did that a couple times. Or when it was almost during the penalties. But, yeah, I just hear them, and they're like, "Oh, extraordinarios." I'm like, oh, an extraordinary replacement there, obviously, the last minute. So anyway, so here's what it boils down to. We have on Tuesday, remember, we choose the winner of the World Cup and other such events based solely on geopolitical aspects of what we believe is a completely rigged game and tournament, from the top in Switzerland at FIFA all the way down to Cameroon and Ghana. And we really know very little about the game itself, as is self-evident when we discuss it.
Yeah, no, people criticize us for being boneheads.
Continuously. Stop with the soccer talk. All right, well, if you want the same analysis on soccer that you get from everybody else, then you should not listen to us. So we have on Tuesday the semifinals, which will be the semis, which will be, we have the Netherlands-Argentina, but that's not Tuesday. I think that's Wednesday. The Netherlands-Argentina is interesting by itself because we have our king, King Beer, King Pils. It was better when it was Prince Pils. Now it's just King Pils. He's married to Maxima of Argentina. So everyone's like, oh, it's got to be tough.
What a coincidence.
It's got to be tough in the bedroom for those two.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, hard for her to root for Argentina. And of course, the other semifinal is Brazil versus Germany. Now, we have had, besides our pick, which couldn't even happen technically, that's how much we know about the game. We knew that this would happen. Brazil, Germany, and I believe our 2-1, the score 2-1 is our prognosis. But here's what's interesting.
All of our prognosis, by the way, is 2-1.
Here's what's interesting. 3 of the most important players for Brazil are out. Neymar, Silva, and now Willian Borges. No, wait a minute. That is William Borges da Silva is out. So maybe it's 2 players.
Yeah, there's this one guy who I guess the top player, whose name I can't pronounce. They're all nicknames.
Yeah.
Brazilian players don't have any real names. They're all nicknames. And this he got a broken back or something.
Yeah, so let's face it. If Brazil wins with 2 or maybe even 3 of their top guys out, is anyone going to start believing us that this is fixed, this is rigged? I mean, please. So, of course, Brazil will win. Argentina will win. There's really only 2 outcomes. It can either be Brazil-Argentina, which is the one that makes the most sense, or a rematch of 1970, whatever it was, 1944, the Netherlands-Germany, which is what the Dutch want. But I'm afraid that that's just not going to happen.
Well, there's a third possibility.
Yes,
which is kind of your possibility, but you didn't explain it correctly.
Okay.
There's a possibility that it's going to be Brazil against anybody and they're going to win.
Right.
And then there's a possibility Brazil's either going to lose the final game or not even get in the finals, resulting in the burning down of the stadium and probably revolution in Brazil.
And we were having dinner, Thursday night after the show. And there was a table next to us. There were like 4 or 5 girls. And at a certain point, Mickey's talking to one of them, and she's from Brazil. And so, of course, they have their little, well, I'm for the Netherlands. Oh, I'm from Brazil. Like, I can't believe I'm hearing this. But then, I get involved and say, well, obviously it has to be Brazil. And she says, oh, yes. Otherwise, there will be big fire. Okay.
Yeah.
No, they know it. They everyone's well aware.
Yeah.
Well aware. Anyway,
Big
so
fire.
I think that's. Did I have a clip here? What kind of?
You're gonna have to red card probably the best German player, so they make it at least look like it's not totally rigged or.
Yes. Yeah.
Brazil, I think you were talking about this, or somebody, maybe it was Buzzkill Jr., that all soccer is just a bunch of guys kicking the ball around and then one guy who's really good.
No, that's not exactly true.
Kicking it into the goal.
No.
And all these teams have one guy who's really good. No. He's actually a freak of nature.
End of show clip today. I will roll out John Cleese explaining football to Americans, which is a classic John Cleese bit. Because it's not true what you're
violate the rule that you established that we're not going to play end of show clips.
Was that a rule?
That's the one you put together.
Oh, I hereby rescind the rule.
Well, then I can do end of show clips now.
Yes, of course you can. Of course. Now, there's another angle to this, which I think is very important to discuss, because this is now ramped up with such fervor. We have been tracking, although it's been going on longer, since the bee colony collapse theory has been propagated by the President's Special Committee on Pollination, whatever it is, that has been directly traced back to German pesticides.
Right, the same ones they use in Australia, which doesn't have the problem.
Right. The Deutschland Blitzkrieg has ramped up to an astounding degree. And maybe I should play. Let's see. I have 2 clips for this. Here we go. This is what has kind of been going on in the past day or 2.
The German authorities have arrested an employee of the country's intelligence agency on suspicion of spying for the United States. The German Foreign Ministry said it had summoned the US ambassador in Berlin over the incident. The man is said to have been trying to gather details about a German parliamentary committee that's investigating claims of US espionage.
Hey.
Yes, it's all coming down to this.
So the backstory to this is interesting. As a blogger who posts to the No Agenda News Network, noagendanewsnetwork.com, anyone can add their RSS feed. So apparently, this spy. First, he said, "Look, I'm working for the Russians." And I want to expose myself. It's a little complicated, but then the BND,
what?
Yeah, the BND, which is the German Secret Service or intelligence services, So they get in touch with him. There's some undercover back and forth. They wind up going to his apartment, and they find on his computer. I haven't seen this reported anywhere, and I've only read it from this, and it's in German, so I may be getting something wrong. But apparently, they found on his laptop he had a weather app, and when you ask for the weather in New York, it opens up this crypto window where he was sending secret messages back to home base.
Nice.
As a spy for the United States.
Huh.
I got to get me this weather app.
Who are you going to send messages to?
I don't know. I don't know. Whoever pops up at that moment. So this is now a constitutional crisis. Well, not only a big issue or a chilling situation between the United States and Germany, as if we didn't know that was already happening, but internally as well.
This parliamentary committee was investigating U.S. spying on Germany. Now it appears it may itself have been spied on. A 30-year-old employee of Germany's intelligence agency is reported to have been an American double agent, accused of stealing confidential documents and passing them to Washington.
This is a very serious incident. That's why the federal state prosecutor has become involved. Espionage activity for foreign intelligence services isn't something that we treat lightly, but it is a matter for the federal state prosecutor and the investigating Federal Criminal Office now, and it's in very good hands.
The suspect was originally arrested on suspicion of spying for Russia, but he told his interrogators he was working for the US. The White House has refused to comment on this latest arrest, but German politicians are outraged.
Wenn sich der Spionageverdacht
If these spying allegations are confirmed, it would be an outrageous attack on the freedom of our parliament and against our democratic institutions overall. There is no justification for this whatsoever.
Should these allegations prove true, it would be a veritable scandal. In constitutional democracies, parliaments control intelligence services. Intelligence services do not control parliaments. So we hope for a quick clarification, and if necessary, severe legal consequences.
This is just the latest, and it puts the US-German ties under further strains. Former NSA contractor Edward Snowden last year revealed Washington was spying on its ally. The revelations include mass surveillance of German citizens, including monitoring Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone. An attempt to create a new intelligence relationship between Germany and the US collapsed in May when Washington refused to rule out spying on its allies. After the Snowden leaks, President Barack Obama ordered a complete review of spying on its allies. But now with these new revelations, the implications could reach beyond Washington and Berlin.
It's a double whammy because the intelligence services were spying on Parliament, and it turns out that guy was apparently a double agent. Which is so far only an accusation from the Germans. We have not copped to that. Because, the State Department doesn't do press conferences on the weekend. We don't know. We need a jingle for this segment.
For the German
Deutschland Blitzkrieg. Deutschland Blitzkrieg! Deutschland Blitzkrieg! Something like that?
That's good enough.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Deutschland Blitzkrieg. That's actually not bad.
And I did that live.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This is very interesting, and it seems to me that now with Angela Merkel starting a 3-day visit in China, just to make matters worse, all of this Ukraine, everything, it seems to be more about Deutschland than anything now.
Well, they're not playing ball.
No. They're firmly in the Russian camp.
They're in the Russian camp. They won't play ball. The whole thing's a mess. And, they're not even helping us get Snowden. They're going to have Snowden come visit them without us grabbing him.
Well,
terrible, those Germans.
Well, just on Thursday, we played the clips of the Courage Foundation run by Snowden's girlfriend. And everyone's talking about Berlin stands for Snowden. This has got to hurt.
Berlin stands for Snowden.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Berlin stands for Snowden. Please. So,
this would be resolved if the U.S. softened up on the Snowden thing. They're just making it worse. I think our State Department is screwing up. I could be wrong. Maybe this whole thing's part of a grander scheme that we're too close to.
We're too wrapped up.
We're
too
missing
wrapped
the
up
big
in
picture. We have to back off.
Well, there's a couple other things. If you just look at the overall picture, the French are now offering a liquid natural gas pipeline to Germany to pipe into Europe as an alternative to Russian gas. I don't think the French have. I mean, they have, but I didn't know that it was enough to. It certainly can't be enough to replace all the Russian gas. So the French are now.
I don't know what the deal is with that French gas because I know they've banned fracking.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no fracking going on, and they don't do a lot of oil drilling. It's a nuke-powered country.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's from a terminal or something where we're going to send them the gas. It's going to go into a French terminal and then get pumped up there.
That could be. We have the Trans-Anatolian pipeline. That's the one that's always been planned from Turkmenistan. No, but that's going to go into the Netherlands. So that the Trans-Anatolian pipeline goes through Georgia, and it goes to the is it the Caspian Sea? What's off Georgia?
I don't know. All I know is there's too many of these damn pipelines.
But then it goes into a terminal in the Netherlands, and so it doesn't seem like then from the Netherlands to France. I don't know. But there must be something else. There must be something about this because Barack Obama did the whole Brandenburg Gate thing. And maybe he's still pissed about the weather when he went back there and he was just sweating in that box. Remember that just before the second election?
I don't think that would be it. It has to be Snowden. It's not something minor like he had boils or something from sitting on his butt too long while at the German airport.
Wait, I mean, is it really such a big deal that we have to go through all this to discredit Deutschland and to obviously, if we're any good, we're going to mess up their game on Tuesday. That will be
that would be, yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what, Well, the Germans can't get any further in the tournament. I don't know. I mean, if the U.S. was still in the tournament, it would be more interesting. But of course, we shouldn't have been in the tournament in the first place.
Now, on the other hand, I will say that the past, let's see, that previous World War and the one before that, it's pretty much Deutschland who gets blamed. So does this mean we're setting them up?
Maybe. There is a cycle that takes place.
Here we go. Oh, okay. Now I want to hear.
Every 80 years there's a major conflagration.
Uh-huh.
And World War II was the last one, and it would be 80 years in around 2020. And so that's when the Civil War, whatever the heck happens, breaks out. I don't know. But what do we got to do with any of this? Why? It's got to be. Well, play this clip that I have because there's just a little.
Wait a minute. Let me close this off. Deutschland Blitzkrieg. Deutschland Blitzkrieg. Deutschland Blitzkrieg.
This was actually a clip about the Deutschland Blitzkrieg, so closing it off was not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
This is about Austria. We've seen these clips before. This was on RT. They showed it again, and they just had a little zinger at the bottom. I play the South Stream deal clip.
Ooh, you're getting on my pipeline turf here.
Austria doesn't seem to be all that enthusiastic about more sanctions either. Vienna and Moscow this week struck a major gas pipeline deal with President Vladimir Putin in attendance. And the issue of Ukraine came up during a lighthearted exchange. But the South Stream gas pipeline deal between Austria and Russia isn't sitting all that well with Washington. You can find out why on our website.
I don't think I need to go to the website to find out why.
Now, they played that whole clip included the little back and forth with Putin in Austria, and he speaks fluent German.
Yes.
So he has a repartee with the Austrian guys who speak German.
Yeah.
And it was, and I think that bugs us because they're speaking in a language we can't understand.
They're talking in code. What could it mean
to each other? And Merkel speaks Russian. And
they speak Russian and German together. Yeah.
It's like we're being cut out of the deal. I think there's some sense of that we're being somehow. This is what I would think, just off the just as someone trying to analyze these news stories.
Okay,
it's possible that the way we see ourselves being screwed.
Yes.
That would be the reason for all this stuff going on. And we can't even make any moves against Russia because, well, if you play, there's another good clip here. We can't even get our own people on board. The clip, what is it? DHS, Americans doing business in Russia. Play Americans doing business in Russia, and I'll give you some of the numbers that came up on the screen.
Seeing staunch opposition from Western businesses, and here's why. Russia, being an emerging market with a growing income, has been quite attractive for U.S. companies. The possibility of being cut off from that market is making American business bosses nervous. But just who's involved in Russia? Well, Boeing buys nearly a third of its titanium here, and the country is also one of the fastest growing markets for Pepsi. U.S. car manufacturers also have a huge interest in the Russian market, with General Motors and Ford selling tens of thousands of vehicles here last year alone. Now, the Chamber of Commerce and the National Association of Manufacturers have launched an ad campaign to explain just why new sanctions will backfire. They say it will leave U.S. companies scrambling to keep up with firms from other countries. Earlier, we spoke to the president of the Franco-Russian Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
So they have Pepsi, 7% of its total revenues come from Russia.
Sure.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
So, and this is a company that donates to the various parties. When they said tens of thousands of cars, General Motors and Ford combined sell 350,000 cars into Russia. And it's, this is not, you can't just all of a sudden start sanctioning, stopping trade. This is not Iran. We got no business in there anyway. So who cares?
Well, let me try this on you. So what I didn't hear was American oil and energy companies are pissed off. I didn't hear that.
No, this is a Russian. This was RT again.
No, okay.
So you're not going to get, they. I don't even know if the Russians themselves get the.
Let's try this on for size. So who are the people doing this? We know we don't quite have all the evidence in Iraq and the new caliphate. Of course, we do know in Ukraine. It's Noodleman, it's the Kagans. And they specifically work for BP and Shell, etc., Chevron, Exxon, whatever you want to call it. So their idea there was cut it all off, and then I presume, we are in charge of that pipeline that's coming in through Georgia, and that'll be ours. But also, I'm reading now that Shell Oil, and this of course would be more UK, but also US, have had long-term plans to develop the Yuzov field in the east of Ukraine, Donetsk and Kharkiv region. And in June, they confirmed their intention to go ahead as agreed. But here's a little extra bit that I learned. We have this new agreement. And I'm not sure if this is a part of the European agreement, but it's Article 37.2, probably of a lot of their leases. Local residents in these regions are obliged to sell their land and property if requested by one of these multinationals. So kind of like what we have here, eminent domain. And where is all the killing going on right now? Which actually, this is kind of disturbing to me that is so underreported. We have Ukrainian stormtroopers killing Ukrainians. I mean, you don't have to do too much work to go and see video of people really being maimed and killed by Ukrainians who are being driven by this puppet regime in Kiev. And no one, it's like an ethnic cleansing almost what's going on here. And it is so poorly covered. But it seems like just clear it all out, let those guys come in. Putin, I think he's backed off completely. He doesn't give a crap about this. Like, let them wear themselves out. But it's obvious, that we have the pure evidence that Victoria Nuland, she set it up. These are the people coming in. It's exactly those people who are running it. F the EU. And that was supposed to be it. We'd be in charge of it. We would control the flow of gas. We have Putin under control. And then we have all these alternative routes, which, if you follow all the way through, includes oil and gas coming from Kirkuk into Ceyhan under Turkey, via Israel, or maybe later on direct into Cyprus, Greece, Italy, etc. And and that's how we spread that empire, the energy empire, which is pretty much what it's always about. Wars are rarely fought over Pepsi Cola.
No, but Pepsi Cola gives money to candidates.
Sure.
Probably more so than the oil companies do.
Well,
I think the insurance companies give the most. So there's other things going on. The whole world is just not, I agree with you. I think most of it's about that. And we also have more messaging going on. I don't know. You always like to follow the president's weekly podcast.
Yes, his podcast. And I was very disturbed by his podcast this week.
Well, I want you to play it, but I have the Republic.
No, I'm not going to play it. I just wanted to say I was disturbed. He did not have any makeup on. He was shiny and sweaty, and it was
what?
Yes. It's the first time I've seen this happen. He had no makeup on. He was shiny and sweaty, and it was very.
What was he thinking?
I don't know. Maybe it was.
The Republicans have a
podcast
weekly pitch that they do, and they play it on C-SPAN. And so here's a piece of it. I want you to just play a little bit of it, or play this clip, and then it's got another. It's got a bunch of cliches. The Republicans have all these cliches, and it's all in with a bunch of stuff. The guy sounds like a pitch man for some soap, and here it is.
We back projects onshore and offshore, creating more jobs and eliminating our dependence on unstable parts of the world. We establish predictable regulations, the kind of certainty that allows businesses to plan ahead, invest here, and bring jobs back to our main streets and town squares like this one in Bentonville, Arkansas. We build a truly stable electric grid, protecting us from everything from blackouts to security threats. And we boost exports so we can supply our allies with affordable and reliable energy and fuel our economy at the same time.
Who is this? Who did this?
Some congressman from Arkansas.
Do they actually believe that anyone is sitting there going, yeah, yeah? That was stupid and lame.
It was very stupid and very lame, but it had all these kind of talking points in it, which were all bogus. One was that, the nonsense that we're supporting our enemies by buying oil from them. We get most of our energy from Canada. We talked about this a million times. From Mexico. So I don't know how that works, but they stick with it because it sounds good. Then they talk about the grid. Squirrels
eating the grid.
Make the grid better by putting it on the internet. That's a solution to everything, and nothing's safer than that.
Yeah.
And so then we're going to increase exports. Yeah, because we've turned the manufacturing over to China, and they will ship us the product back. We can put our logo on it and then ship it to somebody else. That's our export business. Big deal. And then energy thing was another kicker. This is talking about all the gas and crap that we're now. At first, we're going to. We need to make this. Do the fracking and do the drilling so we can feed ourselves the oil, so we won't be dependent on these horrible Saudis, which we don't get much oil from. But now it's exporting it. This is another. Let's ship this stuff that we're going to supposedly use for ourselves to somebody else at a higher price. Why, Americans aren't going to pay this kind of money.
Wouldn't it be funny if there actually was just one dude behind a curtain pulling all these big levers and all these wooden gears are turning, and it really was just like the Wizard of Oz, and none of this is true? It's just a bunch of robot-created news reports of bull crap?
Well,
seems like it.
Yeah, unfortunately, running into people like Doodleman over there floating around giving out donuts.
Well, while we're on the energy and the grid thing, we didn't get to this on Thursday. Now, this is so insulting, where now we have this new Stuxnet-like malware, okay, which is, and if you had drawn a guy with a pointy hat and a Fu Manchu mustache and like some crazy Boris-like character, that's the only way it would have been better than describing this new malware from a group called Dragonfly, and it's called Energetic Bear. I mean, are you kidding me? So you're telling me that the Russians, of course, Energetic Bear, and we've got the Chiners because they're the group called Dragonfly, and it's this malware is going to is going to creep into all energy systems everywhere. And who discovers this malware?
Who? Kaspersky?
No.
Our NSA?
No.
Carol Burnett? I don't know.
It's those same guys who discovered the Heartbleed.
Those
bug.
phonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we have discovered this. What was their name again? CrowdStrike. That's their name.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah. So CrowdStrike discovers this. We know these guys are phony baloney. Where they discovered this Heartbleed on this coincidentally the same day the Google guy discovered it, who probably got a national security letter. Shut up. We discovered it. So now they have. You give them credibility. They discovered the Heartbleed bug. Oh, now they have credibility. Never heard these guys before. They're just a military contractor. Now they've discovered this group who apparently, as they were making this malware, they said, I have a good idea. Let's call ourselves Dragonfly. And then we'll call the...
Yeah, but we can be Dragonfly, man. But how are we going to get make a Russian meme?
I know. We'll call it Energetic Bear. Get it? Energetic.
Yeah,
energetic.
Funny.
Yeah, bear. And we're supposed to believe in all this.
Energetic Bear. Does it say that in the code?
Yes. It's in the code. Energetic Bear. Come on, please. And we're supposed to be afraid now, I guess. The grid is coming down. It's really, really, really bad. But there you go. That's people. I guess someone somewhere is buying into it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, what do we got for today's show? I do have something interesting. It's a little insight, maybe. I'm not sure it's good or bad insight, but it is insight. I want you to play Stormtroopers numerology.
And sometimes they marched along the street and were singing, "We are the murdered Stormtroopers 33. They were proud of the name given to them by left papers.
It was the men of Storm 33 who were destined to give the battle for Berlin a new twist of viciousness. On a dark winter night in 1930, a group of armed and drunken men from Storm 33 walked 200 yards from their headquarters to a popular left-wing social club.
Okay, is this from the History Channel?
Yeah.
All right, well, I wasn't going to roll this one out, but now you've forced my hand. 33, of course, is the magic number. We've had a jingle about it for a long time.
33, that's a magic number.
We're still not sure exactly where it fits in, but I have been sent a clip from a couple months ago of Christine Lagarde of the International Monetary Fund handing out what I believe, and many others in the circles in which I often travel believe, of the conspiratorial nature. Is code for the beginning of the Armageddon. And I would like you to deconstruct it with me. Are you ready?
Go.
Now I'm going to test you numerology skills by asking you to think about the Magic 7.
Now, Magic 7, which of course is also a very sacred number.
Okay?
Okay.
Most of you will know that 7 is quite a number.
Yes, quite a number. It's not 33, but it's 7.
In all sorts of themes, religions.
Occult.
And I'm sure that you can compress numbers as well.
Now, this is very interesting. What do you think she means by the compressed numbers?
I believe if she's talking about numerology, that means combining like a 3 and a 4.
Yes.
So you have like 34, which is also 7.
7. Yes, you are correct. You are correct, sir. Hold on. Ding. All right, onward.
If we think about 2014, all right, I'm just giving you 2014, you drop the 0, 14, 2 times 7.
Now, this is very interesting. I'm not quite sure why she said it that way, because 2 times 7 is 14, but what she really said is drop the 0 from 2014. That would leave you with 214, which is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. I'm not sure why she said it
Well, it both works out, which makes it very interesting because if you divide the first number into the second two numbers, you do get 7 also.
Correct.
So it's 7 any which way you want to go. She just took a different route.
But she does mean, with compression of numbers, she's talking about adding up the numbers to come up with a total, which is something that nut jobs do.
Oh, total nut jobs.
So this is Christine Lagarde.
Yes, the head of the IMF.
The head of the IMF, who apparently now is a Republican conspiracy theorist, global warming denier nut job with her compressed number theory. Let us continue. She doesn't stop there.
Okay, that's just by way of example.
Oh, yeah. Just an example.
We're going to carry on.
Okay.
Okay, that's just by way of example.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to carry on.
My mistake.
So 2014 will be a milestone and hopefully a magic year in many respects.
A magic year.
It will mark the 100th anniversary of the First World War back in 1914. It will mark the 70th anniversary. Drop the zero.
Drop the zero. Why? So it fits in with your crazy theory, Christine?
You don't have to, whether you drop the zero or not makes no difference in this model.
But she's saying it. This is the head of the IMF, John. This is not Adam with a we didn't land on the moon theory. This is Christine Lagarde.
Of the Bretton Woods Conference that actually gave birth to the IMF. And it will be the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Now, she doesn't say anything here, but 25... compress the numbers is 7.
25th.
So she says 25th, but
she's like, this is very entertaining.
She's yeah. Okay, onward.
It will also mark the 7th anniversary of the financial market jitters.
The jitters. The financial market jitters. I think she means jitters. Or maybe jeeters.
Jitters.
Jitters. I like jitters.
7 anniversary, is that right? So
yeah, but the 7 is the Jeters.
Okay, she says it happened in 2007. Well, people say 2008. Okay, fine.
The Jeters.
That quickly turned into the greatest global economic calamity since the Great Depression.
Aha!
The crisis still lingers. Yet, optimism is in the air.
God.
We've left the deep freeze.
This is the one. Stop a second. Yeah. People have to realize as we're playing this, we're listening to one of the most powerful people women in the world.
Not just women, powerful people.
Person. She is the most powerful person in the world. Beyond, pretty much almost.
When there's
definitely top 5.
When there's a meeting of top leaders of countries, she's there. When President Obama is doing any kind of financial huge hoo-ha thing, this woman is everywhere. And she negotiates the money to save or create Ukraine. Greece, who now have rolling blackouts. That's her. This woman is power. And she's doing this numerology crap
behind us. And the horizon looks just a bit brighter. So my hope and my wish for 2014 is that after those 7 miserable years, weak and fragile, we have 7 strong years.
Now, I believe this is I know it's like a saying in Holland, you have 7 magere jaren, so you have 7 tough years, then you get 7 good years. Is there some theorem behind this that you're aware of, John?
Nope.
Okay.
Now, I don't know whether the G7 will have anything to do with it.
No. The G7? Not the G8. And this speech, by the way, was given before Russia was kicked out of the G8, and it reverted back to the G7.
That's interesting.
Let me just roll this back for a second, because here it comes. Here it comes, the one that's going to blow you away. We've had 2014 equals 7, 25 equals 7, 7 years equals 7, G7.
The G7 will have anything to do with it, or whether it will be the G20.
What? I've never even heard of the G20.
I have.
Okay. How often does that come up in conversation?
Not often, because it's a useless group. It's one of these where you bring everybody that are bitching and moaning about the G8.
Okay, so
they put them in a room together, and then they make them think they're part of something bigger.
Right. But if you are doing a whole speech about numerology and everything is 777, and then there's 20 for no reason?
Anything to do with it.
Hold on. Let me roll that back one more second.
7 strong years. Now, I don't know whether the G7 will have anything to do with it, or whether it will be the G20. I certainly hope that the IMF will have something to do with it.
And this is also interesting language, but I'll let her slide because she's French. I certainly hope the IMF will have something to do with it. Sounds a little weird. Now, if I extrapolate this, and it's not hard to follow along with what I've done, the first secret sacred number with compression dropped to 0, 214. It's 2014. The G7 would be the 7th month, and the G20 would be July 20th. I don't know what, but I'd say buy gold and seeds.
The seeds. Hey, we missed our opportunity.
So let's look for July 20th. I have no idea why else she was doing this.
I don't know what she's talking about and she says it's going to be 7 years up.
Yeah.
So July 20th would mark, well, we just broke the 17,000 barrier
on the Dow.
Dow.
Yeah.
Which means that the sky's the limit, even though everyone's, oh my God. Of course, the sky's the limit is also that this is classic where we.
By the way,
the higher it goes, the more likely it will.
17,000, drop the one.
Drop the one. It'll, as it goes up, which I believe it will continue to do. It's fun to watch this because as it goes higher and higher, it begins to lure the public in, which are prone to buy high and sell low.
Well, let's see what we have on July 20th.
Okay.
We have New York Yankees versus Cincinnati Reds.
Ooh, Reds.
We have, the Pitchfork Music Festival. Pitchforks.
Oh, Devil. Now we got Reds and we got Devil.
That's right. That's right. And the Kansas City Royals take on the Boston Red Sox.
More Reds.
The Warped Tour.
The Warped Tour?
Yeah, the Warped Tour is on. Yeah.
Okay.
And it will be a Sunday, so this is good. So while Armageddon is striking, which could be positive, maybe it is a bonanza for everybody who knows how to play it. That means short everything. Well, July 20th, the market won't crash on a Sunday. That won't happen.
No. And shorting things is a bad idea. You have to wait till the public gets in. The public will be lured in as the thing keeps going higher and higher. There's not a lot of volume, but the volume will increase.
Well, I do see a donation.
The will get in, then you short.
I do see a donation opportunity then. July 7th.
What are we going to call it?
I don't know. We'll think of something genius. But that's the day. And that is going to be your ultimate Lagarde donation.
Whatever.
Sunday is also the 7th day of the week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Depending on your calendar.
Well, that's true. Could be the first day if you look at it otherwise. Anyway, so, all I know is I have always stayed away from these compressed number things. And, if you look at The Simpsons and then they said this and then you combine that with the 7 towers and you come up with 33 plus 7 equals 7 again. I've heard this so many times, but now Christine Lagarde is doing it. What kind? That's a message to the occult, man. I don't know what that is.
No, she's probably an agent of the devil. It all spells Beelzebub to me.
All right. Well, you have been warned, people. Take your measures. Take your countermeasures. Get your iodine, whatever you need.
Get your iodine.
Get your boner pills.
That other guy.
Hey, I haven't heard this clip anywhere else. I have not seen it deconstructed on CNN. And it's you got to hunt around for these things to find them.
I don't know where you got that.
Yes, well, the IMF website. You got to, but even that's not easy to navigate.
Well, I'll give you. It's borderline clip of the day.
Oh, thank you. Well, I won't accept it because. Well, let's see what happens. If we live past July 20th, then you can give it to me posthumously.
I don't think anything. I think good things will happen on July 20th.
Well,
we'll know from our donations.
Then we just need to know how to play it. That's all.
Stay away. That's how you play it. Take my advice.
Anyway, I would like to thank you, John, for showing up once again. Thank you for your courage. And in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
And in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. and all the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to our artists, thank you very much for providing us with endless hours of entertainment and for making it entertaining to just open up your podcast app to see a new piece of art magically appear. It does work in most podcast catchers. Martin,
yeah, it looks great. This one guy sent a picture of
his car.
In his car.
Yeah, that was cool. I love that. Cool. And that's the future. It's the future. Martin JJ created the art for our previous episode, which is the Caliphate E for empty. There's a lot of hidden messages in there. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com is where you can find all of the art and where we will be choosing another artist once again right after the conclusion of this live broadcast. In the morning to all of our human resources in the chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. We're testing out a brand new stream. If you want to give that a shot, listen.noagendastream.com. And I think this is one of those streams. Void Zero has been setting this up, our 19-inch rack night. And it's one of those things where you connect and then it determines what bandwidth you need. So you don't have to hunt around for a low bandwidth stream or anything
nice.
like that. Yeah.
That's what you call the modern.
Yeah. it's
actually doing their job.
Yeah, like the 21st century stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Tricky.
Yeah. Now, this would have been a disastrous day were it not for a number of some well-established names and some new ones just jumping in.
We had a couple of Insta Nights, and Sir David Foley came in, and so we saved the day, the Insta Nights in particular, and let's thank them. And they don't have a lot to say. I do have the note from James Brown.
Hey!
So we have from Bone Crusher, who doesn't want to be named. He's in Wyoming or Delaware or something. I don't know. Can't tell where he's from, actually. He sent in 1776.33.
Wow.
And he wanted to be knighted as Sir Bone Crusher of Murder Hill 100.
Murder Kill 100.
Oh, I'm sorry. Murder Kill 100. And he says there's some reason for that reference.
He says,
With regards to the title, I'm not a psycho. At least I don't think so. Bone Crusher is an old nickname, and Murder Kill 100 is a reference to where I make my home. Sounds like an archivist.
Wow.
Keep up the amazing work. And that's what he has to say. And it was pretty nice.
So we'll be knighting him, but I guess, will he be sending in for his ring, or does he not want that? Or?
No, he'll see if he wants to get a ring. He goes to noagendanation.com/ring.
So Murder Kill 100 is in the Wikipedia, was created in 1682 as one of the original Delaware hundreds. It was divided into North Murder Kill 100 and South Murder Kill 100 in 1855. And that is Kent County, Delaware.
So he's in Delaware, and curiously, by coincidence or not, our next Insta Night, James Brown, is from Middleton, Rhode Island, the neighbor of Delaware.
And are these original colony states?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
$1,111.11.
My goodness.
Which was the old 11-11-11. And actually found the old link to it, and he has the 11-11-11 magic knighthood donation.
Wow.
And he has very little to say. ITM John, hope this donation helps. I've been listening to No Agenda for about a year now and love the show. I was a boner for too long and finally decided I should atone for being a freeloader.
Wow.
Looking forward to many No Agenda shows to come. He also sent us, I believe, a secondary note. He or one of the other knights said they believe they should be listening. They should be listeners for a year before they can be allowed the knighthood. I think that may be in one of the notes.
That's interesting. You're too early. Go away. Your money's no good here.
Anyway, I want to thank them, and they will receive their knighting later in the show. Sir David Foley, meanwhile...
And here it is, another donation from the Grand Duke of the USA, Sir David Foley.
Yes!
So, Sir David Foley, the Duke of the USA, from Los Gatos, California, 704-14, which is the date, 7-4-14.
Drop the zero.
Drop the zero. Happy 4th of July from the road. Enclosed, find my Declaration of Independence from the Citizen Agenda donation. At the airport yesterday, I watched a TSA agent berate a guy for 5 minutes over accidentally having his half-consumed Gatorade bottle in his bag that he put through the X-ray machine.
Yeah.
It made me think that I need to find a Wi-Fi connection and donate to the show. Please keep up the amazing research that can be found only here on the best podcast in the universe.
The best podcast in the universe.
Thank you very much, Sir David Foley. He is the Grand Duke of the United States. All barons, baronets, etc., ultimately do report up to him. He's pretty lenient, though. He's kind of laid back.
At least in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, but he's laid back. He's like, whatever.
In the Eastern Hemisphere, it goes to Pelsmakers.
Pelsmakers
got France and Belgium, so they have to...
is France in the... It's Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern.
It's East. Yeah, they don't have to fight. Grand Dukes don't fight.
They do fight. You haven't followed your history very well. Someday it could result in a horrible conflagration, the two guys.
Well, we already... Okay.
Sir Ted Hossman in San Jose, California, $333.33.
Just want to point out that America did beat Belgium in the World Cup.
Well, then who beat America?
Or did we lose? I can't remember. we were beat by Belgium. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. You'll get it eventually.
Yeah, sorry.
It's listed on the wiki.
Yes.
Sir Ted Hossman of San Jose here, wishing my wife a happy 33rd. Is she on the list? I think so.
Yes, she is. Melissa's on the list.
By buying her an executive producer credit on the best podcast in the universe. You have to make a note of that. If you would be so kind, we both laughed out loud at the 2 words for you, bingo, boom, shakalaka combo on show 630. Can we get it again?
I think so.
I have 2 words for you. Bingo, boom, shakalaka.
I was prepared.
You've got karma.
Yes, of course. All you got to do is email me once, and I'm on it.
Sir Tim Tillman and Baronet Tim Tillman from Prince George, Virginia, $200.33 to be associate executive producer for show 632. He says, excellent Hobby Lobby analysis, Adam. Throw me a Monsanto jingle.
Oh, boy, haven't heard that in a while.
Monsanto.
There you go.
We're going to deal with that in the future. Mm-hmm. Robert Hill in Glen Rock, Wyoming, $200. Thanks for continuing to entertain and educate on a holiday weekend. 73 is from KJ6 HVC.
And by the way, congratulations, John, on your first time hitting the repeater.
Yes, I hit the repeater. I'm in QSL land.
QSO. I have recorded some some
Yeah, I got some. Here's Adam. He says, KF5SL, blah. I said, yes, KJ6 LNG to KF5SLM. I think I said. And you go, no, it's SLN.
I did not do it like that. Okay, well, then, so I got to tell the story. So on Reflector 14 Charlie, which is somehow that's always connected to the repeater John has hit for the first time, and pretty much the only thing he can hit, and he'll never be able to hit anything else. It's just like you don't even touch the dial; it's just always on that. And after Ham Nation, they have a D-Star Net. Now, this is one of the sad things of amateur radio, where a bunch of guys sit around and one guy is the net controller, and they say check-ins, and you say, "Hey, I'm here." And then they say, how you doing? Say, I'm doing good. Next. And so I checked in and I said, yeah, it's KF5SLN. And we're just listening in. We've got John C. Dvorak, KJ6LNG on D-Star for the first time. And the net went wild. I remember him. Yeah. When floppy disks were made of wood, I read his columns. I did.
Floppy disk. Yeah, there you go.
Anyway,
that's your group.
Anyway, Mickey, who listened to, and she actually forced me to record our last bit of me helping you in the final throes of getting you on the reflector. She by the way, I think she actually did wet her pants. She said, "John, this is so good what you've done for John." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, there will be a day when." You really are both just too old to do this or whatever. And John will have his ham. He'll have his buddies and he can grouse like all those other guys on the ham radio. It's like, now I think about it, you are uniquely qualified for ham radio, John. You really are.
Looking forward to grousing in the future. I have grousing in my future.
Anyway. Welcome to amateur radio, my friend.
So I'm listening to these guys. This guy goes, "Yeah, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just getting away from my I'm taking Python." And he got, because I know we need to learn how to program. The guy says, yeah, I've been wanting to do something like that too. He says, Python's good. Is that a good one? He says, yeah, it's named after Monty Python, the English comic.
And of course you jumped right in and went, that's wrong.
I did not jump right
in. Anyway. KJ6LNG. How's the weather there in San Francisco? KF5SLM.
Oh, I thought you were. That was the recording.
No, that was me. I'm doing that live. Yeah, I'm an artist.
Yeah. Is this KF5SLB?
Negative. This is KF5 Kilo Fox 5 Sugar Lima November.
LNG. The weather here is sunny, overcast. Looks like the fog's gonna roll in later today. Out.
That's funny. When I was in San Francisco, I remember the days in July would be really, really nice and
No, this is not true. It's never been nice in July. You lie.
Now that would be funny. It's the you lie guy on the ham radio. All right, onward. We have
and two. Finally, our last donor for show 632. Not our last donor, but our last associate executive producer. Yeah. Sir Chad Biederman,
Biederman, I think.
$200 from Round Lake, Illinois. As far as I wanted to contribute to your 7414 promotion, I just didn't feel like it was enough when stacked up the truly stellar content you guys have cranked out all year long. Absolutely no one performs the kind of analysis you guys do. May the feds become confused on the way to your houses.
Because, hey, let's listen up on these guys before we go bust their heads and black bag them and send them off to Gitmo. Hey, what? Wait a minute, what? Say what? I'm confused. No, somehow I don't think so.
Sir Chad.
Oh, that was our list, and really the saving grace. So you'll see how quickly we'll wing through our donation segment today. Of course, it's a 4th of July holiday that we had here in the U.S.
And we're working.
We're working. Everyone blows their money in the air on fireworks. What'd you do for the 4th? Did you do anything fun?
I had my daughter and her boyfriend and Buzzkill. We had a big dinner.
Which meant you were
we
cooking.
Watched off the porch. We can watch the local Berkeley fireworks. You couldn't see San Francisco because it was completely fogged in.
It's always fogged in 4th of July.
No, I know, but sometimes you can see under it. You can see a flash. You can see something that goes way too high and gets above the fog once in a while. No, nothing. Zip. There was not a thing you could see. And from where I am, you can see San Francisco fireworks, Tiburon fireworks. I think there's something in Sausalito. You can see Great America, or it's not Great America, but whatever it is up in Vallejo. You can see their fireworks. You can see the Oakland Lake Merritt fireworks and Berkeley fireworks. And the Berkeley fireworks are close enough and outside the fog that we got to see that. You can't see anything. It was all foggy.
Hey, by the way, Python. I always thought Python was it's a Dutch guy who actually developed Python. But I always thought it was a reference to the way the code flows like a Python.
Yeah.
From the Book of Knowledge, which I actually did consult.
Consult the Book of Knowledge.
Python's name is derived from the television series Monty Python's Flying Circus. And it is
but Monty Python is not an English comic.
No, I understand. Okay. But I even thought the Monty Python reference was wrong.
That was from a snake. I
always thought it was a snake. Well, I learn something every day.
Probably, if you take the course or read the book, it probably is the first thing you read about the derivation of the word. And this guy is studying it, so that's what he read.
Anyway, we the HEB, the heebie-jeebies. They always. This is our Texas supermarket. They always.
Right. I've been to a HEB.
A HEB, yeah, HEB. And they always do a big fireworks show. But now, because Austin's money center is pretty much around, some people call it 360 or it's the Circuit of Americas. This is where we have Formula One and we have the X Games now and we have MotoGP. So it's a big money maker. But they moved all the fireworks out there. So you've got to get in the car or whatever and go drive 20 minutes. Except the country club in Austin, they still do fireworks. And Joe and Karen Draker, who are friends of ours. Now, Joe, they're both born in, Karen, is not born in Texas. Arkansas. She's from Arkansas. She used to be married to Charlie Sexton. And Joe Draker is, he's a first, original Austin guy. And he, have you ever been to Austin, Maudie's Tex-Mex restaurant? You ever hear of that?
No.
But he owns it. There's a couple of them, actually. So he's a good old boy, but, he doesn't show the Republican side of him in Austin, of course, because you get run out of town. And he said, the kids are out. Why don't you guys join us? And he has one of those older, a real older fashioned ski boat. These days they're all fancy, but he has the one with basically a huge Corvette engine in the middle of the boat. You ever see these? You have to turn on this blower for half an hour so you don't explode when you start the thing. And it's just this, and in the dark. And, with champagne, and we're right there on Lake Austin as the fireworks are being shot up over the country club, which of course we can't get into. Because you're not posh.
It's restricted?
Yes, restricted. No Jews, no blacks, no podcasters, no nothing.
Huh.
I'm just guessing. So it was really nice. It was kind of interesting.
They'll hang out with you, but you don't have to be a member of the club.
Right.
Have you ever been in the club?
No, I've never been in the club. But it was interesting because I told Joe previously a couple months ago that, Hillary Clinton's uniquely qualified because he's like, who's going to, will it be the big man? This is the guy. Remember I talked about, will it be the big man? So who's the big man? Chris Christie? No. He's not a chance in hell. So we'll watch. Hillary Clinton. She's going to be good for the country. She's the best Republican the Democrats have ever had. He was like, what? And now I had to disappoint him.
Yeah, we're going to get a real socialist in there.
Pocahontas is coming, my friend.
Pocahontas.
He didn't get that reference either.
Nobody does.
Yeah, anyway.
Listeners to the show do. Yeah. Well, anyway, I want to remind people that we have a show coming up on Thursday, Dvorak.org/NA, channeldvorak.com/NA, also noagendashow.com and noagendanation.com have donate buttons you can get to help us out, continue the upward momentum.
Yes.
For show 633, there's a lot of numerology there. 6, 3 plus 3 is 6.
Drop 3, add 2 is 7.
Which is 12 plus 2 plus 1 is 3.
The compressed. A couple quick PR mentions. Thank you very much to John from Boston. He says, I like maps. So when I saw the map of the Caliphate from the July 2nd newsletter, I did some research. A reverse Google image search led to a 2006 PowerPoint by a Captain Steve Miller titled The Global War on Terrorism, The Long War. On their version of this map, its source is listed as Islamic-youth.net. I researched this, but the site wasn't online.
Yeah.
Didn't have an entry in archive.org. It was unregistered. Of course, I scooped it up. It's now forwarding to noagendashow.com. Thank you. Islamicyouth.net. Very good. With a hyphen there, by the way.
There was a number of, I wish I was smarter then than I am now, which is right after 9/11, most of these radical Islamic sites were still up, and I'm sure that was one of them. And there was one site that showed the progression of the Islamic takeover of the world. And they had all these different countries, and they show what year they were going to be taken over. And they had, I think France and Great Britain were the first two to go in Europe. And then I guess pretty soon they took over Europe, and then they started taking over Canada, and then they took over the United States. And it was a great map to say, look at these guys. They're crazy. But then I didn't do save page as.
Oh, man.
And there I am now.
Or print as save as PDF, which you can do on the Mac.
Yeah, you can do that nowadays. You can do that on the PC too.
Yes, for a while we can do that.
But okay,
two more. Adam Smalltime, $5 a month producer on the show, thinking of ways I could help you out in lieu of all the money I don't have right now to give you. And this is from Jonathan, known as Artist The Magic Number on iTunes. And he put a track together called the No Agenda Alpha Mix, and he'll be donating the proceeds from, or at least half of the proceeds from any purchases. And I played it on a very short pre-stream today. It's nice. It's kind of a groovy little track that he's put together.
Is that the one with all the meme jingles and stuff?
I don't think you heard it. I can just give you just a quick little preview of it. It's kind of nice. It's actually kind of a dancey, like little little ditty here. I liked it. You know, it's stuff like that. It's kind of catchy. All of a sudden, you're like, yeah. All right, so you get the idea. And then finally, Jim, in the morning, Adam. In the morning, John. Being an IT slave, I'm loving your Dude Named Ben saga. I've been slacking on donations lately due to finding out we're expecting our 4th human resource. And they do suck resources from you. That is true. So I decided to create a teespring.com campaign. And he has a website domain name associated with it. John, please go to dudenamedben.com. And you can see these very handsome T-shirts.
No, I saw the T-shirts.
The dudenamedben.com T-shirts?
Yeah.
It's really funny. I like it a lot. So you get, so hello, my name is some dude named Ben, and has noagendashow.com underneath it. I think it's a good deal. Pick one of those up.
I like that my name is because it's a funny shirt.
It's cute. It's cute. So as John said, we do have another show on Thursday. The deconstruction does continue. We need all the help we can get. Please go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And obviously, we need you to continue being out there on the cusp and propagating it.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Of course, those credits are real credits for the executive and associate executive producers. Just like Hollywood, you can use them anywhere credits are accepted, but unlike Hollywood, we will vouch for you if anyone brings them into question.
Indeed.
All righty.
I was just marking something up here. A couple of interesting things I ran into. This is one I want to just... But here's an interesting clip. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's interesting. This is the clip. I went to... I was watching C-SPAN, and Jay Rockefeller, and the clip is... You can get the idea what I think here. The clip is called Jay Rockefeller's a Dick. And he decides to do an investigation out of the blue of e-cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
And just condemns the whole idea. Now... And he says, you guys didn't even wait until the research was in on this. It could be killing people, and you're getting kids addicted and all the rest. Now, I remember the first time I experienced or knew about e-cigarettes. You remember when Mickey was still living in Amsterdam and she had a big party at that place she was the
art at the Supper Club in Amsterdam, yeah.
Yeah, that's the year I floated around most of Holland with Jan Aylman.
I think wasn't that Queen's Day?
It was Queen's Day, yes. But what year? Do you remember? It was about 5 years ago, wasn't it?
I'm going to say 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say 2009, 5 years ago. Yeah. That's when at that event, at her party, or the party that the club had, they had the e-cigarettes were being given out, and they had blue tips, and I think the company's still called Blue Tip or something like that. And so these things were in play now for 5 years.
And you know what? All the people who attended that party are now dead.
Possible, but whatever the case is, it's not as though these things showed up last week.
Right.
And the research, whatever research had to be done, should have been done by now anyway. But I just want to put that as a preface to what you're going to hear with this guy.
Today, the committee is examining the marketing of e-cigarettes, and I should warn you that emotionally I'm on edge on this whole subject. Mm-hmm. I'm on edge. A product whose popularity has recently been soaring, including and especially among young people. We will hear today, I assume, from the tobacco companies or whatever they call themselves, that they're just marketing to adults, which I'm going to find an amazing answer, and we will probe that. E-cigarettes are battery-operated products that vaporize a liquid containing something called nicotine. Woo! And we all remember that, don't we? 8 people with their hands raised, all the rest of it. Now, we know that a cigarette and an e-cigarette are somewhat different. But nicotine is nicotine. Little kids are little kids. And
Just stop there. That's a jingle right there. Nicotine is nicotine. Little kids are little kids.
I know, it's idiotic.
Non sequiturs are us.
They're looking for things. And they're looking for things which they get to see a lot of it in advertising.
Like porn?
One of the nice things is you can sort of mimic the act of smoking.
Oh, God.
It's cool. Kids are cool. These products are relatively new, and their long-term health effects are unknown at this point.
Oh, man.
Which to me raises the question, why in heaven's name are you going ahead marketing these things and selling these things and putting them online when with the results of the health studies, which are being done seriously, are still out? Why would you do that? You want to make money. That's your answer. That's your answer. You'll tell me you're just talking to adults, but you're not. You want to make money. So you plunge in, get what you can, and then the studies come out, then you'll go right ahead and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's like, you should also...
From a Rockefeller, by the way.
Oh, of course, douche. You should put a helmet on your kid when he goes out, knee pads. Make sure he doesn't eat any dirt. That's what this is. This is all of that. What a dick. So who's paying him? It's probably the tobacco companies paying him to do it, to promote.
Yeah, until they own these guys.
Yeah, because kids are watching C-SPAN, of course. Hey, that sounds good. That sounds illegal. I think I shall do some of that. Yeah, but it's...
I got a note from one of our producers about this drug, and I have this clip's been floating around. I've been meaning to play it. I might as well play it so people don't keep pestering us.
Oh yeah,
which is this is a very interesting drug that I don't know why anyone in their right mind would take it.
Now, this is for psoriasis, I think. It's like
kind of. It's like for bad. It's like
bad
for
skin.
Bad complexion.
Yeah, bad skin. Yeah.
This is Stelara. This is the ad, and this is like, wow.
I'm ready to try some of this.
I'm Carrie Day English, winner of America's Next Top Model. I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, so I talked to my doctor about my condition and my treatment options. He told me about Stelara. In a medical study, 7 out of 10 Stelara patients saw at least 75% clearer skin at 12 weeks, and 6 out of 10 patients had their plaque psoriasis rated as cleared or minimal at 12 weeks.
Stelara may lower your ability to fight infections and increase your risk of infections. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before starting Stelara, your doctor should test for tuberculosis. Stelara may increase your risk of cancer. Always tell your doctor if you have any sign of infection, have had cancer, or if you develop any new skin growths. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you or anyone in your house needs or has recently received a vaccine.
After 2 starter doses, I take Stelara 4 times a year. And my skin is clearer. Talk to your doctor to see if Stelara is right for you.
I'm confused and I'm growing a third leg, but look at my complexion. I'm dying of cancer, but look at my complexion. It's so nice. Yeah.
I ran into another ad. I know, that's the worst. I don't understand, but I guess it makes
And someone's buying that. Well, who was pitching it? Who was that?
This woman who won the America's Top Model or something.
I think I had a different...
Very good-looking woman, I have to say.
Now, did I have a different version of that commercial? Is that?
I don't know. Did you? You might have.
Hold on a second. I had... that's kind of weird. I had... well, maybe I don't have it. All right, don't worry about it. Let's just onward.
So I thought the more interesting commercial was this one, which was very entertaining. And I said, I had no idea. Now, we have a night or one of our producers from Medina.
Medina or Medina?
Well, I thought it was Medina. I think I pronounced it Medina, but I think it's pronounced Medina.
Isn't funky cold Medina?
One way or another by this polka party ad, because apparently these polka parties up there in the Wisconsin, Minnesota areas or wherever, North Dakota, that kind of place, I guess are extremely popular. This particular one, which is being promoted here by this woman who plays every instrument, usually at once, they have a list of all the bands that are playing over a 4-day period of polka madness. There must be 50 bands, and they're all crazy sounding bands with, very polka-ish sounds. But play the ad and see the kind of thing that goes on where we're completely unaware of, and they don't even have this sort of thing in Texas.
It's time to get your tickets for the next Molly B Polka Party.
Party. Our next event will be August 7th to the 10th in Medina, Minnesota at the Medina Entertainment Center. Don't miss your next chance to be a part of the Molly B Polka Party and dance to some of the best bands in the Midwest and be on TV with me, Molly B. We're going to have a polka party in Medina, so I will see you there.
Be sure to reserve your daily tickets now for just $20 each or $25 at the door on the day of the show, or purchase a 4-day pass for just $60 by sending your check or money order to RFD TV Molly B Polka Party, 9500 West Dodge Street, Omaha, Nebraska 68114. You may also order by using a credit card by going to rfdtv.com and clicking the Molly B Polka Party banner, or simply call 402-991-6290 during weekday business hours.
We're going to have a polka party in Medina, so I'll see you there.
And boom shakalaka, brother! Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, dingo, boom shakalaka.
All right.
4 days?
Yeah, well,
somebody has to report in about this.
People are serious about their polka.
I mean, to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't condemn it.
I don't condemn it. I'm just stunned.
I tried pulling a clip from Reefer Madness, which is a classic movie.
Very hard to do.
There's nothing, because it's a lot of it's so visual.
Stinks.
Yeah, the sound stinks. It's optical sound. It is a classic movie that was ultra propaganda against marijuana, and it was really well done for the time. And they have like, watch the paranoia strike, and you see a guy smoking a doobie and like freaking out, but there's no clip. It's very visual.
And the other thing that I thought was counterproductive about that movie in terms of getting people not to use marijuana was they were all
having sex.
Yeah,
the chicks were all loose.
That some woman, if you give a girl one puff, she turns into a nymphomaniac.
Yeah, it's like,
now, how does this dissuade you?
Yeah, they were trying to play into people's morals, but obviously that was
they got it wrong.
So I wish I could find something that would fit in, because the type of Reefer Madness propaganda against marijuana that we're seeing now is, I mean, it's just history repeating itself. Except instead of women getting all sexed up and nympho, you're going to die.
How's your Monday, good?
6 months ago, recreational pot sales caught fire in Colorado. Business has boomed, but so have concerns about safety. A 19-year-old fell to his death from a balcony after eating a cannabis cookie. And this man is behind bars, accused of shooting and killing his wife while reportedly high on pot and other drugs.
He told me that... he doesn't remember anything.
It's not clear what caused either of these incidents, but a common link, marijuana edibles.
The edibles do have a different effect on people.
With edibles, it takes longer to feel the effects of THC, marijuana's mind-altering ingredient, which can lead to people eating too much too soon.
Now, let's just stop here for a second. There's not a lot of things I'm actually an expert in. Aviation, I'm pretty damn good. Well, the only second one would be marijuana. I think I have some experience with the magical herb.
You were strung out on pot for a decade.
Strung out. Hey, John, I can't do the show, man. I'm strung out. I might jump from the balcony. Now, there's a couple of things they're introducing now. So one is the concept of edibles. Now, in the Netherlands, where I grew up and where I learned to consume the magical plant, it would be, we'd call space cake or hash brownies. It's been around forever. Now, of course, we're calling it edibles, and it contains too many doses. Now, this is very interesting. This is also very typical American somehow, but since it's unregulated, they're trying to bring in some form of regulation. Anything, please, we need to label, we need to do something to protect the children from the edibles. So they're coming up with this concept of a dose. And I guess what they're trying to say is one dose would equal one marijuana cigarette, which of course is ludicrous by itself. Because
especially in today's market, where if you could actually smoke a whole marijuana cigarette, you'd be passed out in 2 seconds.
Well, there's something else that I think we discuss from time to time on the show, but with marijuana, it's kind of a reverse system where the less you smoke, the better the high. If you smoke a lot, it's really just going to start not working that well. Whereas we used to call it studying for the test, where you wouldn't smoke for a week and then you take one puff after that week, and then, well, you'd go kill someone, of course, and jump off buildings. But you literally just be floored, like, where the M&Ms and turn on the Cartoon Network. You're not going to go out and kill anybody. But now they've determined that this is a dose, and they're calling it 100 milligrams of THC. I don't think any of this makes any sense, but now they are propagandizing this to the citizens by showing candy bars and asking, of course, the man on the street, how many servings do you think this is? How many servings in this candy bar? It is completely insane.
The side effects can be serious.
Serious. What? You might eat everything in the house. True. Hey,
who's giving this report? Where did you get this?
This is CNN.
This is more lies.
Yeah. Hey, that cat looks very tasty, dude.
They should be ashamed of themselves preventing this. Here, let's play the clip from the guy.
I don't get to finish my clip?
Oh, is more to it?
Oh, please.
This is going to make me annoyed even more.
Including delirium and psychosis.
Oh, yeah. Psychosis,
delirium.
Yeah.
I'm delirious.
Everybody loves their chocolate.
And when it comes to tasty treats like candy or cookies, looks can be deceiving.
Here's your regular candy bar, and here's one of those marijuana-infused candy bars. You can see outside the package, they look practically the same. They smell almost the same.
Let me tell you something. If you've ever smelled an edible, it does not smell like there's no weed in there.
They stink.
They smell like weed. Come on, it's not practically the same.
A lot of folks might eat one candy bar in one sitting, but that's where people are getting into trouble because this candy bar actually contains 5 doses of edible marijuana.
5 doses?
Would the average person know what one dose looks like?
Now, this is pretty funny. They did put a funny dude in here just to mix it up, and most of it's like, oh, I can't believe it.
We put it to the test using a smaller but even more potent candy bar containing 100 milligrams of THC, what's considered 10 doses of marijuana.
Oh, I'm sorry. 100. That's 10 doses of marijuana. 10. I mean, John, if you had 10 marijuana cigarettes all at once, you would probably go kill someone. It could have serious side effects.
How many servings do you think is in this?
I would have no idea. I know nothing about it.
I would say probably 2. Would it be 2 servings?
The whole thing.
I like that. That's one serving. This stoner dude says, that's one serving, man.
Yeah, it is. Right.
That looks like one serving to me.
The whole thing. So you think this is one serving?
Yes.
Yeah.
My guess is it's probably pretty potent, maybe 4.
Well, you're right. It is pretty potent. There are 10 doses of marijuana in this small bar.
Wow. That's a lot.
Wow.
This is actually 10 doses of marijuana.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
That's terrible.
Oh, my. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, I just think it takes a level of education to the consumers so that people are using them responsibly.
Adults aren't the only ones ending up in trouble. The Children's Hospital Colorado reports a surge of kids admitted after consuming edible pot. They've treated at least 9 children since January, 6 who were critically ill.
There's basically 3 doses in them.
State regulators are now looking into stricter requirements, including better labeling and no more than 1 dose per package. Until then, industry insiders urge edible enthusiasts to consume with caution.
Consume with caution, citizen.
Last time I had an edible, which was some time back, it was I went to a Super Bowl game, and my wife's brother was there, and he brought a bunch of brownies that I did not know were laced with dope. But he's a pothead. I didn't add 2 and 2. So I ate about 3 or 4 of them. And of course, when you eat this stuff, it doesn't have the same impact. It creeps up on you.
I'll say.
So I'm about halftime. After the halftime show, I'm watching the game. I'm going, I just had this like, what? Wait a minute. And so then I realized that I had ingested a bunch of this stuff, and the game was a little brighter. My eyeballs were open. And so I said, what was what? I was just very confused by this. And my wife says, didn't you know? That's why I didn't have any. And okay, fine. So I was like completely wasted from these brownies. But, it's not even, I don't know how much you'd have to ingest gallons of this stuff before it really had, because through the digestive system is extremely slow metabolizing. It's not like if you smoke 10 joints.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
No. But you can ask, and it means I'm going to say anything.
Well, I just wanted to know, how long did it last? And were you at any point saying, oh, crap, I wish it was over?
No, well, I didn't say that, but I was annoyed that I wasn't, I didn't get to, I was just annoyed by the fact that I didn't know that I was going to get high from this stuff, because if I knew in advance, I could have enjoyed it, or I would have had a different approach to it.
Let me ask you a different question.
But all of a sudden, say you just get wasted by accident. It's annoying. I mean, this is like the experiments they used to do with LSD and the rest of it. Right.
But this is CIA. Let me just ask, have you ever before or since been at a baseball game where someone said, hey, want a brownie?
No.
So how stupid are you? Come on. When someone offers you a brownie at a baseball game, come on, John. I mean,
it was a football game. Anyway, the point is that
you think. You don't know.
Who knows? It could have been a soccer match. Dude. But this is nonsense. Now, this is all coming out right now. They're pushing as hard as they can because the numbers have come in from Colorado. The tax numbers or the kind of money they're making. All those numbers are now showing up in the mainstream media, and Colorado is making a ton of money, free tax money. And and the government knows that everybody else is going to look at these numbers that Colorado's released, and they're going to say, "Oh my God, we're throwing money away by not legalizing it." And the legalization movement is now going to go into high gear. And these assholes at CNN and these other stooges are just being fools.
Well, this is interesting. This is exactly why the No Agenda Show is the best podcast in the universe, where I pick up on the bogut of edible story, and you come in with the zinger, which I presume is this Colorado clip.
No, I don't have that specific clip. No, the zinger is the zinger. The Colorado clip is more interesting. This is the guy who is the head of the Marijuana Industry Association. His name's Elliot, I think. And he talks a little bit about the pot situation in Colorado. And then another guy comes on who's kind of stoned. I thought was kind of funny. The pot and hemp diatribe, which is a different one. But this is the situation with Colorado. And he's bitching about the banks and the government being against the whole thing because because of the Department of...
I have that, actually. I have a follow-up to your follow-up, so we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, let's play this, though, because this is a good backgrounder that I think people need to listen to after listening to that CNN crap you just played.
By it being illegal, actually, we're hurting the minors.
No. This is Colorado Pot and Bank.
I'm sorry. Okay, I misunderstood.
That's the other clip.
Yeah, got
it. We've been Colorado-centric, trying to make this program work, and that's what I see my job as being, is making Colorado's program work. But what we're finding here is that there's only so much we can do in Colorado, because our banking laws are federal banking laws. It's the Federal Bank Secrecy Act that is interfering and disrupting the banking relationships here in Colorado and causing tremendous public safety issues, also accountability and transparency issues, because it's really difficult to audit a marijuana business that doesn't have a bank account. We're also dealing with other tax issues, and then marijuana is still a Schedule I controlled substance. It's in that category of the most dangerous drugs in the world, according to our United States government.
Just look at you, John. It's killed you. You went from a successful journalist to a podcaster after 3 brownies.
The government says there's no medical value to marijuana whatsoever. So all of those kids with epilepsy that have been getting so much attention, that have been coming to Colorado from across the country, the federal government must think that they're all lying. And it's an absurd situation where I guess from Colorado it kind of feels like so many federal government entities just have their head in the sand about this whole thing, and particularly with banking, it is literally causing public safety issues here because the federal government has not been willing to take more action and solve this problem.
Okay. Now my clip makes even more sense. So what I'm hearing now, and I believe there was some pot bank that is coming online for the marijuana only, but essentially, here's what needs to be done. As we see that the sale and taxation of marijuana is a bonanza for the state of Colorado, and I presume it's going to be great for Washington and other states. And of course, that makes so much sense. This is a huge problem for the federal government, where the drug is classified Class A, whatever, most dangerous drug in the world. And of course, you want to now slowly move that towards what is our go-to goal whenever we want to remove something. Of course, it's helping the terrorists, and you're helping the terrorists win the war on terror. And now this clip, which is about the fake pot, is just a stepping stone to the real pot.
Federal authorities are concerned that the next source of terrorist funding could come from a very unlikely place: convenience stores right here in the United States. You're not supposed to ingest these, but people do anyway. Synthetic drugs known on the street as fake pot. Small packets sold with names like Scooby Snacks, Crazy Clown, Spice.
It's not really synthetic pot, it's synthetic poison.
For the last year, federal drug agents have been raiding gas stations and mini-marts across America. Not because the synthetic drugs are necessarily illegal, but because the money, officials believe, is going overseas to fund terrorism.
We have seized over $100 million worth of assets.
This, by the way, is the guy from the DEA. $100 million of assets we've seized.
We have arrested hundreds of individuals all around the United States.
Funding terror.
We have seized guns all over the place.
Guns.
If a mini-mart is operating in our country and they're sending $40, $50, $60 million back, we're very concerned about that.
Yeah, there's probably some towerhead sending it back over to Iraq in that ISIS outfit.
Tens of millions of dollars. The bulk of the money, according to the DEA, going to places like Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon.
As state sponsorship has declined, terrorism fueled by criminal activity is on the rise.
Well, the DEA
makes sense.
Knowledge.
Yeah. And by the way, in this report, they actually showed the dudes on the monkey bars. You remember that terrorist clip? From the Al-Qaeda train? Yeah, they pulled back and out as the monkey bar.
There's no actual smoking gun tying synthetic drug money from the U.S. to terrorists.
I know. They say it right there in the report. No, I know. You don't have to tell. I'll roll it back for you. But this is how nutty it is. This is only a stepping stone.
Snacks, Crazy Clown,
Crap, I went too far back. It got stuck. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Let me try. Anyway,
let me summarize while you're rewinding it.
That's all right. We don't have to hear the whole thing.
This is happening, and then the woman then says there's no evidence that this is happening.
Yeah.
And that's their report.
Yeah, and this is obviously a stepping. First of all, it's not known on the street as fake pot. Like, hey, man, got any fake pot? No. That's bullshit. No one. Hey,
bullshit.
Hey, Ahmed, you in the convenience store? Got any fake pot? No. Give me some Scooby Snacks, yo. No, this is just pointing towards one thing, which is drugs equals funding terrorism. Because you see the guy with the towel in the mini mart. They actually say mini mart. That's almost racist. We know the Indian guy in the mini mart. Or I don't know if he's Indian. He could be Al Qaeda, for all I know. He looks like Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. And he's selling fake pot, which is funding terrorism because he's sending money to terrorists in suitcases full. This is really, it's so transparent. It's funny.
Where did you get that one?
Also CNN.
These people are got a screw loose.
Well, they're
on the wrong side of history. They're on the wrong side of history.
Well, it's not a mistake. This is happening. This is done on purpose.
Yeah, they're telling them to do it, and they do it. The cow, yes, sir.
And people question what I say when I say, or what I mean when I say, Facebook. Really, the media is doodling and tweaking and messing with your emotions. So we just heard the children are dying because they're eating candy bars that are laced with 12 doses of pot. And they could jump off the balcony or kill someone without knowing it. And the guy that sold them the pot, or even the fake pot, it's so bad it's fake pot, is funding dudes on monkey bars, who, of course, will spill over from Syria and Iraq to kill people in America.
Yeah, that's happening any minute.
And at what point does anyone say, except us, this is bullshit? Stop.
I know nobody says this. What is wrong with the media? They all know it's bullshit. They just won't say it.
Well, I'll add a little bit of help comes to us from The Guardian. The Guardian newspaper, Phoebe, sat down with Hillary Clinton. She is now in the United Kingdoms of Gitmo Nation East, visiting the Queen, no doubt. And she did a sit-down interview. She was asked questions, and from multiple people, including Sarah Silverman with a videotaped question, and Ariana Huffington. It wasn't set up at all. But then she is asked about the State Department's use of social media. And when you listen to this with no agenda ears, you kind of hear that dude in the chat room right now, that a-hole, it's probably State Department.
It was a way of getting the message out, especially when you're in countries that try to control what the United States ambassador or a Secretary of State can communicate to the public. So it was both a tool to convey information, but also it became a source of information. What are people saying on social media about the United States, about our policies? And then we saw through the era of the Arab uprisings how many of those were catalyzed and organized by social media. So,
yeah, the question is who was organizing?
So we have to be on social media. There isn't any choice. The other piece that I focused on was how we did, how we debated and tried to checkmate jihadist groups, particularly Al-Qaeda and affiliates. And
podcasters.
Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula or Al-Shabaab or any of the other groups. They were using the internet to convey propaganda, sometimes just gross and gory videos.
The gross and gory videos, I think that would convince me. Hey, look at that gross video. I think I want to go and join them.
Sometimes recruitment, sometimes, telling people how to make dangerous weapons. So I recommended forming a group inside the State Department to monitor their media and to be not just passive observers, but to intervene, to basically get in there, those chat rooms and those discussions and saying, who's killed more Muslims in the last 30 years? The jihadists. Who goes after innocent women and children? The jihadists.
And by the way, I have seen this written in forums. I have seen this exact language.
Yeah.
And so that's the State Department.
Cut and paste.
Yeah.
And to really take the fight to them informationally. We did a great job in past years, particularly in the struggle against international communism, being out there, sending artists and...
sending artists?
Yeah.
Speakers,
people in the world
around the world to convey American ideals, standing up for our values through culture and media, Voice of America, and all of our related efforts.
And that podcast.
She said past years that was a slam against Kerry.
Of course.
It kind of went down after the Cold War ended. Understandably, people thought, well, thank goodness it's the age of democracy. Now we see different threats from terrorist groups, from autocracies and the like. We have to get back into that information exchange. We have to be standing up for our values. We have to be calling out the people who are saying and doing things that are antithetical, not just to the United States, but to people of good faith everywhere.
You got to speak truth to power. Just a reminder.
So what is Kerry doing with his time? If he's just out yakking away.
He kind of got excluded from the 4+1.
Excuse me.
It's all right. As they had this meeting, and there was going to be we're going to have a truce and a ceasefire, and Putin was there, and Poroshenko was there. Everyone's there except Kerry wasn't there. He was kind of excluded from the deal. So he's been running around. I guess now he's just talking Iran or something. And it's also summertime. The ratings are down. No one really cares. It's not the fighting season right now, John. We just have to cool it for a little bit. We'll be back around end of August. It'll probably be a little slow, unless something real happens. You want to hear what Hillary had to say on about Snowden?
I'm all in with Hillary.
Yeah, because this beside the...
Because she, her problem is she doesn't know when to shut up.
Exactly. Well, so not only did she blow it, And you are so right. Everyone is all over her tits about this. It's like, oh, you weren't, oh, she's playing the poor card. And now she has the audacity to come out and say, I've given it to charity. Yeah,
what?
Yeah, the Clinton Global Initiative. She's giving the money to the CGI. Oh, no, I've given the money.
That's even worse. She's just digging a deeper hole.
She is so stupid.
I gave my money to Bill.
And then when you add her thinking about Snowden, this is not what I do not believe the American people want to hear this.
But the other issue that has never been satisfactorily answered to me is if his main concern was what was happening inside the United States, then why did he take so much about what was happening with Russia, with China, with Iran, with Al-Qaeda?
Now, this is interesting because I have never heard anyone say this specifically. In fact, I've heard the opposite. I have heard the intelligence community say we don't actually know what he took. And now she somehow has this knowledge that he took this information on Russia and China and Iran and all our enemies. Al-Qaeda. I had not heard this.
That's the part that most objective observers who might very well say, he may have helped the debate on what our laws should be and how we should be thinking about this. But then what was he doing downloading all the rest of this stuff that could only help Chinese surveillance, Russian surveillance, Al-Qaeda, and their methods and communication? That's never been answered, and I don't know the answer to that.
I also don't think it's ever been exposed. This has not been released. Never been published.
She's making it up.
Ah.
I mean, but what it did reveal was the huge extent of American surveillance globally. I mean, you've described the US as leaders in internet freedom. You've criticized China for attempting to hack into Google, even the Russians as well, having to leave your mobile phone on a plane because of their aggressive intelligence. Right. And yet it's the US, more than anyone else, that's invested, $75 billion in the private companies that are helping the NSA in this global spying network. Right. I mean, why is it that it's one rule for America, another for the rest of the world?
Well, as an American, because I honestly believe that our acquisition of information saves lives and protects not just the United States, but our friends and our allies. Right now,
saving lives everywhere.
You know very well here in the UK, we have a serious, credible threat about terrorists getting on airplanes, going to the United States,
blowing them
intending to blow them up.
Killing people.
That didn't happen by accident. That this is a credible threat. I mean, I think it would be shocking to most people if the United States stopped gathering information and we basically said, okay, everybody, you're on your own. We can't tell our allies in Asia what's happening. We can't share information with our allies in Europe. We're going to stop. Well, that's just not the way the real world works.
Oh, okay.
Real world.
Excuse me. Let me get back into my make-believe world here. This woman is an asshole.
She is blowing it.
Yes.
And we do have to have more restraints. And as I say, that debate is going on. And I think we're making some good changes at home. But when it comes to the information competition that exists between the West and the rest.
The West and the rest. Woo! Love that. The information competition between the West and the
on Friday night.
I think it would be an abdication of responsibility not to be gathering information that we can use to protect ourselves and, as I say, our friends and allies.
Bullshit.
Yeah, this is
Under
not
the lights on Friday night information competition.
Hold on a second. You got to do that again. Ready and go.
Under the lights on Friday night information competition with AA fuel dragsters going against funny cars.
That's right, John. It is the West against the rest.
It's nuts.
Well, she is blowing it.
Yeah,
it's fun to watch.
That for me, that was a big shark jump right there. Of course, it comes right on the heels of, and this is very interesting in light of the whole Don Raff Grand Rival and The Intercept and Pierre Drive My Car. The Intercept, which had, I think there are 800 journalists working for this outfit. They output nothing. There's nothing on their $250 million WordPress blog. There's nothing.
Even a guild member of any newspaper in the country would roll their eyes at the low productivity, and they'd get fired.
There's nothing going on. And then the Washington Post, they get the big scoop about, did you read this article?
No.
What? Oh, my goodness. This is, okay.
Well, before you go there, I do want to play a clip that kind of relates back to Hillary.
This is very important, though. We have to come back to this. Okay.
No, we'll play it then, and I can go back to this because I have, well, actually, let me play mine first, and I'll...
I don't have a clip. I just want to tell you what's in this article.
Oh, I thought you had a clip. Okay,
no, I don't have a clip. No, what has happened now is Snowden apparently, and I don't know how this works because he said he didn't have anything, but I guess he did. He gave the Washington Post, because he felt the Washington Post would know what to do with it, i.e., sorry, Glenn Greenwald, but you're not my bitch anymore. He gave them like 100,000 different pieces of target information. And I can't believe you didn't see this.
No, this is not a new story, though. This is the target information that Greenwald claims to have.
Yeah, but they didn't release the raw information, but they're talking about these 70,000 different pieces of emails that the NSA collected and had stored for easy retrieval and searching. And it includes pictures of babies, naked babies that they're quick to point out, women, doing selfies and in bathing suits, and people showing their abs, and romance and heartbreak. And they're really, really pouring it on, and essentially saying this is all a big lie. The NSA keeps all of your information. For the one terrorist that they call a target, they'll capture 9 people's emails. 90% is just captured and stored. And apparently they have this.
Yeah.
But where's Greenwald with his story? Why didn't he? Yeah. Well, I think this is very interesting. There is a rift. Greenwald is out. It's just out. I mean, he's not receiving anything anymore. And then it may be an old story, but now the Washington Post gets it. They get all of which, by the way, is the non-Pierre Drive My Car publication.
Yeah, the one that Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, well, you'll recall that Pierre looked at it too.
Yeah.
There's, you got to add that into the mix.
Going on with these guys.
You got to add that into the mix.
Big giant dick fight.
Yeah, with weenie boys.
So let's go back to this Hillary thing for a second, because she's talking about this kind of, the terrorism and all the rest. Now, you had a nice discussion on the last show about the phony baloney threat, that's going on, and DHS has got to up the ante on everything.
Oh yeah, were they actually
after we did the show, PBS ran the same story.
Now this is about they're upping the fees. Is that what you're talking about?
No. That was how the conclusion was. Is just an excuse to up the fees,
right?
But the way the stories all ran was that there was a threat, but there's nothing expressed.
Threat, but no threat. Yeah,
and there was no threat, but there's a threat. There's a no threat. There's a threat. Well, PBS I thought was interesting because they not only handled it differently. They never once said there was no threat. They just kind of played it straight. They actually gave the worst report. And, of course, this is the new PBS.
Ah, yes. New production. No more McGlair NewsHour guys.
McGlair guys are out.
Right.
And there was a kicker at the end. And you have to remember that when you hear the kicker at the end,
okay,
this ran on Thursday night. So something was supposed to happen. Play the clip, and then you'll see what I'm talking about.
New worries over terrorist threats are prompting American officials to take additional safety measures at a number of airports in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa that have flights directly to the U.S. Airports on both sides of the Atlantic ramped up security after American officials warned of potential plots to smuggle bombs on flights to the U.S. They said al-Qaeda affiliates in Yemen and Syria are trying to make bombs that current security measures won't detect. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, appeared last night on MSNBC.
People should not overreact to it or over-speculate about what's going on, but
There clearly are concerns centered around aviation security that we need to be vigilant about. There is a terrorist threat to this country that remains.
Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch, known as AQAP, was behind the so-called underwear bomber on Christmas Day 2009. A Nigerian man tried and failed to set off plastic explosives inside his underwear on a flight to Detroit. The following year, AQAP tried again, placing bombs in printer cartridges on cargo planes bound for the U.S. They were intercepted and disarmed. Now the Department of Homeland Security is asking for expanded passenger screening, with special emphasis on smartphones and shoes. British Prime Minister David Cameron pledged his support today.
This is something we've discussed with the Americans, and what we've done is put in place some extra precautions and extra checks. You know, the safety of the traveling public must come first.
Also, the U.S. Embassy in Uganda warned of a threat to attack Entebbe International Airport tonight.
Oh, okay.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah, that was on Thursday. That was last Thursday. Tonight, there was going to be a threat.
So how does that work? Does do they call?
What happened? I didn't. By the way, I have not seen any news stories about the Entebbe airport blowing up.
Well, but that's what I'm kind of asking. It's like how maybe it goes like this. You know, it's like,
yeah.
Hello. Is this PBS?
Yeah, PBS here.
PBS. Hello. This is AQA Maghreb.
Oh, good to hear from you.
Hello. We're going to blow up something in Entebbe tonight. Goodbye.
Okay. Gotcha. We'll put it on the news hour. Number one on the list of if you look in Entebbe threat and you Google it, number one, of course, the story first crops up and shows up immediately on CNN. It's a top one. Now, I just found this to be, and there's no follow-up. Nobody said, I guess nothing happened. There was no follow-up to this story that Entebbe was going to be bombed or some damn thing was going to happen. The specific threat. I just dropped the ball on this one.
I think all of this, I think the entire DHS thing, the entire enhanced security, this PBS story, Entebbe, Jay Johnson getting out there, everyone freaking out, the 2-3 minute long packages on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, ABC is all to cover up one thing.
Yeah, they're going to charge us more at the airport.
No.
What?
It is this information that came to light.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
I think they have to kill Joan Rivers now. They needed to cover this news up. She's blowing the lid.
Okay, you get clip of the day. Digging that one out.
She's letting everybody know that the president's gay and his wife is a transgender. This is clear, obviously.
Clip of the day.
That took a little work.
I do love me some Joan Rivers. I have worked with this woman, and I find, and now that she's really getting up there, she's in her 80s, I think. Yeah, 82, 83, I believe.
No, let's take a look.
I like so much because she just doesn't give a crap.
The book of knowledge.
This, she just, and of course she means it. She's being funny, and I think it's...
She's 81.
There you go. I've worked with this woman. She is a genius. She's very dear to my heart. And I would take Joan Rivers as a comedian over any of these jabronis because she gets in trouble because she really goes all the way. And I think this is funny. This is just stick on the street, John. She's just walking into a building and she just, the president's gay. And we all know Michelle's transgendered. It's okay. It's fine. We're all fine with it. What a woman. What a woman. Yeah. We need, it's going to be
only on No Agenda.
I'm going to miss her, I'll tell you.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
Yeah, you're not going to see that on Extra Extra tonight with Mario. whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They're not going to show that clip, I don't think.
We do have a few people to thank for making this possible to do this show.
Do indeed.
Mikhail Garber in Issaquah, Washington, 13333. And he wants to thank us for our continued awesomeness.
Yeah, dude.
Jonathan Halper in Charlotte, North Carolina, 12345.
You got to do something with that. People like doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I know. I got to put it in some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He started listening beginning with the first episode. Nice.
He sent his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 donation right after the 2012 election. That's interesting. Yeager in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, $100. Just old Yeager. Good catch there, Eric.
Yeah.
Amari
Alexandru Mihai from Romania.
Romania.
Read what is coming from Romania. Thank you for your courage. Please
deduce me for not donating in more than a year now.
Oh no, lately I was feeling kind of shitty because of my bonerism despite the stellar quality of the greatest podcast in this universe. Just trying to keep myself sane while living the American dream here in Romania. Now, I'm going to deduce you for sure.
You've been deduced.
If not only just for that horrible accent that I just did.
Very good.
Very, very bad, Boris. Thank you.
Michael Hall in Pohanal, Maine, 9010. He says, huge note, by the way, but it was interesting. I want to read this part. Please accept my donation of 90.1, which represents the FM dial location of my local NPR station.
Oh.
I think we can. That's cool.
That's a good donation.
I like it.
It's 90.1 here as well, I think. Or no, 90.5 here. Cool.
Okay, well, that would be $90.50.
Yeah.
50 cents.
That's a
Dane
call.
Coleman, Dayton, Ohio, 7333. Brian.
7533. 7533.
70, what'd I say?
73.
No, 7533. Now we have a bunch of July 4th donors, and I'm going to read them in order. All 7414 is Brian Pollock in Overland, Missouri. Christopher Walker in
Hortonville, Wisconsin.
He's the knight I was confused with. In Hortonville, Wisconsin, he's going to be a knight.
Is he? He's on the list, isn't he?
Yes. That's why he's in blue.
Yes, he is.
This may be the one.
By the way, we have a color coding system here on the show. Blue means someone's a knight. Yellow means they're on the birthday list. And red is a douchebag call out.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're slick.
And it's all on punch cards.
We only have, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, which is kind of a disappointment. Brian Maddox in Plainville, in Indiana. Judson Noel in Oxford, Mississippi. Leslie Satao Zanatti in Camarillo, California. And Kirk James in Decatur, Alabama.
Is MS Mississippi or Missouri? I'm always
Mississippi.
confused. Mississippi? Okay.
MO is Missouri.
Ah, yes. Right.
Derek Deck in it's
Merrick. It's Merrick Deck, I think.
Merrick Deck in Taishi or Taishi,
in Poland.
I think. Yeah, he's in Poland, and he says he's donating his money. Was saying to pay the welfare state tourist visa application. Free mac and cheese can wait. Keep on eating kielbasa for now. Also, I'd like to be thankful for the calling out of Jakub Wojciak, who hit me in the mouth about a year ago, who might have become a douchebag since then because he never donates.
All right. Okay. So, this is someone who liked our Poland visa issue. Analysis.
Good.
Yeah.
We will have more news from Poland shortly. Janet Repke in Sioux City, Iowa, 60.
Yeah, this is we did the
call out for Sir Bernie,
right, which we did on Thursday in advance of this donation.
Right. So that's been done.
Yep.
Christopher Whiteson in Atlanta, Georgia, 5556. Ralph Massaro in Kirkland, Washington, double nickels on the dime. Christopher Walker again in Hortonville, Wisconsin, double nickels on the dime. Kevin Hind in Auckland, New Zealand, double nickels on the dime. And finally, Nathan Grafton, the last double nickels on the dime donation from Tasmania. That's in Australia. And let's see, we got finally $50.33 from Eric Asbury in Brandon, Florida. Jim Zuckal, he's got a birthday, something coming up in Los Angeles, California, $50. And Christopher Walker again. He's all over the place, 50.
Really.
And
he's pushing.
Yeah, he just likes his name.
It's good.
And finally, Matthew Januszewski in Chicago, Illinois, $50. And that concludes our donor segment for show 632.
Yes, and thank you everyone who also donated lesser amounts under the $50 level, which of course is usually done for anonymity, or just people who are on our regular subscription donations. We got a lot of the 3333s, 1212s, 1111s. We have 5, 4, 4. We got people with $4 a week. All of this helps incredibly, and we are very appreciative because otherwise this show would not exist. We can't do it with sponsors. We certainly can't do it by selling you seeds. So this is the only way it works, and it seems to be plowing ahead, I would say.
Plowing.
Yes, plowing. So please consider us for Thursday, where we will have yet again more grandiose dissections of media and news for you.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And Sir Ted Hossman congratulates his wife, Melissa, says a very happy 33rd birthday to her, the Magic Nutter. Janet Rupke, of course, congratulates Sir Bernie before and now with their donation after his birthday, which was July 5th. And Jim Zukal, happy birthday to him. He celebrates today, July 6th. Happy birthday from all of your friends and relatives here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
And then we have 1, 2, 3. Of course, we had 2 Instanites. And Christopher Walker, who sent in his accounting, and he is going to be knighted today. So let us grab these swords to get to everything good and ready. Yeah. All right, John. All right, Bone Crusher, Murder Kill, 100. Step forward, James Brown. And Christopher Walker, all of you are welcome here to join the roundtable of the Knights and Dames, as I would like to proudly pronounce the following: Sir Bone Crusher of Murder Kill 100, Sir James Brown, and Sir Christopher of Wisconsin. Gentlemen, for you, we have a nice mixture of whiskey and wet wipes, hookers and blow, Red Poison Chardonnay, 3 geishas and a bucket of fried chicken, hot pants and booze, wenches and beer, Rubenesque women and rosé, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, or maybe just some mutton and mead. And hop on over to noagendanation.com/rings. Pick up your coveted and well-deserved ring, and thank you very much from everyone here at the best podcast in the universe. I have a question for you, John. I came across something which I wanted to ask you about because it's something I'd not heard of before. It is the Cloward Piven strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Had you heard of this?
Yeah.
So I ran across this.
If I had another couple seconds, I could tell you what it is.
Go ahead.
But I have heard of it. It comes up in the conversation every so often.
So this is not new?
No.
Apparently, it was a political strategy outlined in 1966 by...
Yeah, this is by the 2 sociologists, I believe, and it had to do with how to subvert something or...
Well, the idea was... it was Richard Cloward and Frances Fox Piven. I guess maybe they were married. I don't know. Yeah, they were married. I'm reading from the Book of Knowledge now, so who knows what it really is. The 2 stated many Americans who were eligible for welfare were not receiving benefits.
Oh, right.
That a welfare enrollment drive would strain local budgets. Here it comes. Precipitating a crisis at the state and local levels that would be a wake-up call for the federal government, particularly the Democratic Party. There would be side consequences, which would include easing the plight of the poor. So the idea was essentially to overload the system, I guess.
Yeah.
Which would then blow everything up. And the ultimate objective is to wipe out poverty by establishing a guaranteed annual income, which continues to crop up, including now Scandinavia is talking about it again, with a $20,000 guaranteed per person minimum income. And we've discussed this several times on the show. It's coming back more often. I don't know if that's just because of the internet that we...
Well, even Richard Nixon floated the idea of what he called, and I think is a little different way of looking at it, a reverse income tax.
Right. Which it is, truly.
Which is essentially which would make it more of a sliding scale. But yeah, I mean, this is not this is something that I don't know. I think the strategy is not the way to, if you wanted to implement
You
something
could
like
hurt
this
a lot of people in the meantime. It'd be fun to watch. You could do a cool reality
Well, they
show.
believe that the sudden emergence of thousands of kids crossing the Mexican border just by themselves in some scheme, along with a bunch of gangsters, I guess, from the cartels trying to sneak into the country, is part of this strategy.
Yes, exactly. To overload the system.
Yeah, to overload the system in this couple of specific states, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas would be another one.
Yeah.
Your boys.
Hell
and, of course, the Estonians would be all for it, because they're all a bunch of communists from what I can tell.
Yeah, commies. Damn commies. Yeah. I just thought I'd never heard of the term, and I just thought it was interesting, and just wanted to bring it up so people can pay attention to it, see what happens.
So I'm watching our friend Amy Goodman doing Democracy Now! From Sweden.
Oh, she's gone from Bonn, Germany, and where is she now in Sweden? Does she have?
She's at this stupid convention.
Is this the War and Peace Report?
The warandpeacereport.org.
Why is it called the War and Peace Report? I don't.
Who knows? This is dumb. So she's in Gotland at the Almedalen Week, which I guess has been going on since the 60s, where and if you listen to the way they pitch this event because then I have a follow up after you play the clip to this crazy event, which brings everybody together in one kumbaya moment.
Amy Goodman, we're broadcasting from Visby, Sweden, from the largest Swedish island of Gotland, where Almedalen is taking place. That is this mass gathering of tens of thousands of people of every party debating the issues of the day. Sort of like a political convention in the United States, except all of them together and more. So we're joined by Dennis Kucinich. That might surprise some of the people who are listening and watching right now, the former Congress member who lives in Washington right now. What are you doing in Almedalen?
Well, I found out about this amazing event here, and I had to see it for myself. Can you imagine where people of every political persuasion come together in an open space, freely discussing and debating in a sense of joy, like a festival, and the thinking is very deep.
Wow. Oh, John.
Every political persuasion coming together.
You clearly missed it.
Can you play
Here it
the
is.
bullshit
Here it
clip
is.
for me?
No, I'm playing this for you.
Play the bullshit clip. This is bullshit. Bullshit. This is a left-wing congregation. Now, let me read from Al Jazeera. Because, he just makes it sound like, everybody's coming together. Yeah, if you're green. Now, I don't want to say that the Nazis should be there, but the Nazis were there. Let me read something from the Al Jazeera. The far-right Sweden Democrats who entered parliament in 2010 are present in Visby as something of a black sheep. This is not welcoming if they call them black sheep. And they're also the far-right Sweden Democrats are in parliament. Also present, but not part of the official program, is a fringe party even further to the right, the Nazi-labeled Party of the Swedes.
Nice.
As the party leader claimed to be unofficially inaugurating the week, called for an immediate end to all immigration. This is what the Nazis are in Sweden. End all immigration. A few hundred protesters gathered in the park to shout down his speech, chanting Nazi swines and jingling keys. To the jingling. Now, this is not an all-inclusive kumbaya event.
Oh my God, that is amazing!
It's bull crap. And so they're presenting us with essentially a report of lies.
Yeah. Nice.
And I found it very annoying. And I was very keyed up after you played the Amy Goodman crap about the Supreme Court decision.
Yeah. Which I have a little follow-up to that, by the way.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah. So now I see where this is going. So first of all, the New York Times confirms was this an op-ed? Let me just pull this up for a second.
At the very end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Robert Pear and Adam Liptak. Yeah, at the very end, they confirm by saying, let me go to the very, I'm scrolling down. that the insurance here, some religious organizations are using that arrangement. Employee benefits, in part because insurers and third-party administrators have had to foot the bill for contraceptive coverage without any immediate offset or reimbursement. They are not being paid. They have no prospect of being reimbursed. Now, the whole article or op-ed kind of makes it look like the president is running around to figure out how we can save these women. Well, in the meantime, it's just not true. The insurance companies have to pay for for employees whose firms opt out under the Religious Belief Act. Now, what is interesting, I have 3 different articles now from Democrats and Republicans alike that the solution to this, are you ready for this, John? The solution is to make all birth control and contraception, because there's 2 separate things really, over-the-counter drugs. In fact, the Plan B is already over-the-counter. You don't need to go see the doctor for that. You can just go to the pharmacy. And I think you don't even have to show ID for how old you are. We've talked about that in the past. And so the solution is let's just make it all over the counter, which it would be a win for the insurance companies because they're off the hook. And this stuff, there's no patents on this anymore. This stuff has been around for 40, 50 years. And it would be over the counter, so you wouldn't have to pay for the doctor's visit, for the prescription, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You just go
saves the insurance company money that way, too.
Yes, exactly. And I have, so here, House Republicans should pass bill allowing over-the-counter birth control, says Washington Post. 7 reasons birth control pills shouldn't require a prescription, says Vox. These guys are all in Vox media. Sure. The Denver Post, women should be able to buy the pill without a prescription. This is it. And whether this was the plan all along, I don't know. But maybe the president will come out with this as his genius solution to certainly save his buddies at the insurance companies, i.e. banks, a little bit of money.
You can take that to the bank.
It would be genius. You'd have to say, if this whole
thing
was
set up,
was a setup with Hobby Lobby, unwitting participant, and then they go for the Supreme Court with a weak argument. Not the Hobby Lobby people; they come up with some good lawyers that are provided for them to win the case, and then the other side has some weak lawyers to lose the case, so they could trigger this.
Yep.
And the whole follow-up. This would be
interesting, right?
I do not believe that it's too complicated.
Well, I will say this is 3 articles in a row. Boom, boom, boom. 2 days later.
I think this may have been a fix, though. In other words, you go through the process of having this situation occur. Maybe the whole thing was sincere. The insurance companies were stuck holding the bag. They had a meeting, and then they're out of the meeting because they have all the top PR people in the world they can afford. So they have some of the greatest strategists in history meeting and saying, here's how you guys get out of this. And the bonus is you'll even be able to save even more money on those doctor visits. And here's your solution. And so I believe this came out of a strategy meeting after they lost.
It was a quick one, and it was a good one. And I agree, Vox Media, they don't do things under embargo. They're too stupid. Someone sends them a press release, and they write it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great strategy. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe there is someone really smart who saw this coming or figured it out or had it ready, or
I think you put those people, these real high-end PR guys are all working for 2 companies now.
Yeah, they're good.
Put a bunch of them in a room, and they will come up with this within.
What do you think?
A couple
what do you
hours.
think they charge for a strategy like that?
$100,000.
Really? Yeah, with expenses.
Well, there'll be some add-ons. Yeah, sure. Follow up.
A report.
To the gate, to the gate, to the climate gate.
Oh, John, I have a few things I just wanted to share with you. In the Climate Gate Agenda 21 category, United Nations now saying we need to investigate and take a look. We may have to amend international refugee law to accommodate climate change. So you can claim you are a refugee if your country is falling apart due to climate change. This is a very interesting development. I guess
so you can go up to Canada.
Yeah, I could claim asylum in Canada as a refugee from the United States. In Scotland, experts have now claimed that if climate change continues, redheads could become extinct.
What?
Yes, the gene that causes red hair, i.e. gingers, is thought to be an evolutionary response to the lack of sun in Scotland. We may lose the ginger persuasion due to climate change.
What comes up with this stuff?
Travesty. A travesty. Well, here's the best one. I love this. Now, if you really want to go big, right? If you want to put something onto the public, then you really want to get a guy who can sell it to people. Now, there's a couple guys you can call in the world. Of course, we know Clooney. You know, that's kind of our American go-to guy. I mean, he's so go-to that.
He's so go-to, he went.
Well, we even have jingles for him, you know.
You've got something going on and you need a distraction. Call Clooney. Call Clooney.
Now, in order to push the concept of smart meters in Gitmo Nation UK, and these cost £200 a pop, it's about an 11 billion pound. So that's, what is that, like $18 million? $billion?
Something.
The British government has enlisted the help of Sir Bob Geldof.
Oh, God.
Who is going to help the government's plan to put smart meters into every British home. And Bob Geldof has admitted that he's being paid for this. That's nice. But when asked how much, he said, none of your fucking business. And so there you go. They call in Bob Geldof, Sir Bob, to help put the smart meters into every home.
What do you think he's going to get? I think I would guess $250,000.
It's either in that range.
It actually could be over $1 million.
I don't think he starts the car for under $1 million. Quite honestly,
it'd
John.
probably be a couple mil.
Yeah, plus expenses.
Well, of course, that's where you rack it up.
And I think he probably.
How is this guy going to sell anything?
Oh, but the way he always does it. Children in Africa are dying from this. 97% of all scientists say, I agree. We need to put these in every home. Of course, this is all just a minor distraction from something I have been talking about for years and years and years, and now it's here, and now I'm not really that interested in talking about it. But after the cover-up of Sir Jimmy Savile abusing children in hospital beds and the dead and abusing corpses,
God.
We've been waiting for the Elm House report. But I've told everyone who emails me about it. We've mentioned it on the show. I said, look, in Britain, there is something really bad going on, and you only have to look at the out of Jersey and all the stuff that's been happening, the connection with the Belgian scumbag Dutroux and all this stuff. I mean, I've said it's the politicians, the royal family, and then the cover up, the shield, if you will, is the show business people. There has been some weird, twisted, pedophile, child abuse thing going on in Britain for decades, and now finally, we have the Westminster pedophile ring. And now they're still talking about people who are dead, but at least 40 UK politicians were complicit in this pedophile ring. This is now the news coming out of the UK. And by coincidence, they're all pretty much from the Labour Party, which is kind of funny. Exactly. But you wait, there will be tie-ins to the royal family, and it was unavoidable that this is going to happen.
No.
This is the pedophile information
Not gonna
exchange.
happen.
Okay, we'll see. But David Cameron has ordered new inquiry into Westminster child abuse claims.
Yeah.
The politicians, man. It's wrong.
Yeah, once they're dead, they say anything they want.
Yeah, they really do. And
where was this leading?
I didn't know. I haven't. I just wanted to say, because I've talked about it. You usually don't like me talking about it.
No, it's kind of sick.
Yeah, well, but it has to be pointed out. And the Netherlands is always involved. And Belgium, and all this stuff.
One prime minister that apparently was bringing the boys out to the boat and then murdering them.
Well, there's that. And then this also has to do with with the Dutch Secretary of Justice, Secretary General of the Justice Department.
Your fabulous, disgusting Dutch story about the creep that rubbed up against your first wife during a parade.
Yeah, he was a royal.
And left a mess.
Yeah, it's
disgusting.
Yeah, the whole thing it's mess. It is a messy business. Why else do you think these people are? Stop. Just stop me from talking about this. It goes nowhere ultimately.
No, it never goes anywhere.
It goes nowhere. It goes nowhere.
Well, let me go back to a couple of just random clips.
Okay, well, I had one more thing for the Netherlands. I just wanted to throw in, and then we'll go back to
all
what
right.
you wanted to.
You sound like you're rapping. You're giving me bad.
I'm sorry. No, my cues are off. My cues are off. So back on the table now, due to a court decision in the Netherlands. This is topical because we discussed the racist Dutch making fun of the Mexicans with their big sombreros. Woman
mocking the Mexicans.
I'm sorry.
They were
mocking the Mexicans. Vereen Shepherd is back. This is the United Nations woman who we went through this, and that's why I'm flabbergasted that this is now back in the news in the Netherlands. So the thing was, they have this Black Pete ceremony, Black Pete and Sinterklaas, and this is on December 5th. Sinterklaas is, you can look it up, but I'll just give you a quick summary. He's a guy who essentially looks like the Pope. That's why this thing is so stupid. This guy looks like a pope. He's got a big pope hat. He's got a big golden stick. And he has these Black Petes who run around and they go on the rooftops and they go down chimneys and they give kids presents. And if you're bad, then you get thrown into the sack and you're taken on the steamboat back to Spain. And then I guess you become a Black Pete. So this has been tradition in the Netherlands for hundreds of years. And it has become a topic of big controversy, particularly during this woman, Vereen Shepherd, who was from Jamaica, but she is on some UN working party, which means she has letterhead and she's essentially a consultant and brought in to write a paper about something. But she is really a part of this working group that is trying to get money. Reparations, thank you. Money from countries who had slaves in the Caribbean. And she is now, it's essentially a form of blackmail, I guess, but she's going after...
It's a form of extortion.
Extortion, yes. Going after the UK, France, Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands because, of course, the Netherlands, they had their colonies, and, you have to pay the people. And it starts with her, again, coming out and saying... this is crazy. You've got to stop. You don't understand that this is a slavery mentality. And a Dutch court came out with a decision, an opinion, and said, you know what? Amsterdam should evaluate whether they should supply the license for the Sinterklaas Black Pete parade, which happens every year around November whenever he comes in, for this December 5th Sinterklaas Day. Now, here's what you need to know. In the Netherlands, you have Sinterklaas. This is the guy who looks like the Pope with his Black Petes on December 5th. On December 25th, they have Christmas.
You mentioned that the reason these guys are black is because they go up and down the chimney and they're covered with crap.
Yeah.
The soot.
Yeah. Soot, exactly.
Which means when they actually appear in public to an American, it would look like white guys in blackface.
Yes, which is absolutely not true. But now she comes out, and I'm going to play this little clip. Remember, they have December 5th with the Sinterklaas and Black Pete, and they celebrate Christmas. The Christmas has been celebrated with Mass and not really with the Santa Claus, but completely separate from this December 5th, 20 days later, 3 weeks later, they have Christmas. Here's this Vereen Shepherd lady talking about the Netherlands and their racist attitude.
I am not saying you should ban your Christmas celebration where the St. Nicholas is concerned. I am saying the relationship between St. Nicholas and the Black Pete figures is problematic.
Okay, so she says, I don't think they should give up Christmas. The relationship between St. Nicholas and Black Pete is a slave mentality, troubling relationship. She is confused and believes that this happens during Christmas. This is how stupid this woman is, because she's really only there to extort money for the Caribbean islands, and she's using this, I guess, as some kind of stick. Here's what I want to say, and it'll be my final word, because the Netherlands needs to start using this. Sure, if you want to ban the Black Pete's and make them rainbow colors or whatever because of some racial undertone, overtone, etc., be that as it may. May I point out that there is a dude who looks like the Pope with a big golden stick who is coming to your children. Hello? Hello, people. That's the guy you got to be afraid of. Do not let children cozy up to this dude.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was.
Maybe you don't read anything about the Catholic Church.
No, I know about the Catholic Church, but it's like a callback. It didn't work.
Okay, I'm sorry.
In my opinion, maybe we can get some supporters to write in.
I hope so, because
now
it's very.
Let's go back to fixing this problem. Would it be okay with the Dutch to change the name of Black Pete to Soot Pete?
No. It's the curly hair. No, it's completely a caricature.
Okay, how about instead of all blackface, just you take some of the soot and you just run your fingers down so you have smudges all over your face instead of being in blackface.
I have a better idea. I say cancel Christmas, cancel Santa Claus, and tell the kids she did it.
No, that would be good. Blame her.
Is that a comeback? Do I have a little comeback there?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd say that was you fixed it.
I fixed it. I did. I think I fixed it. Just have every December have a picture of Vereen Shepherd and say, and she'll be
this
Vereen.
Is why there's no more Christmas.
That's right. She took Christmas and Santa Claus away from you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't have any presents. No. And everybody wins. Parents, get to keep some extra money in their pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the kids don't win. Not everybody.
Yes, they do. They're saved from
it's bullcrap propaganda.
Yeah,
they're saved
they're saved.
And the humiliation of saying there's no such person. It's always like the Americans are. All the kids are taught that there's a Santa Claus,
right?
And then at some age, every kid does it at their own, or they pass it around amongst themselves. They're 8, 9, 10 years old. I don't know what age they switch over. But they all of a sudden discovered this is bull crap. They've been fed a bunch of bull crap all their lives.
Yeah.
And then they snap out of it, and they were slightly annoyed by this.
A little.
And a lot of them go right back into believing bullshit. They join the Democrat or Republican Party.
It's training, I tell you. It's like
wait a minute. Didn't you learn anything from the Santa Claus experience, you idiot?
That's very interesting. You're trained, and then you're disappointed, and then you're given a new Santa Claus to believe in. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, well, it works.
I like that. But meanwhile, it's the pastors who are ratting out people and getting them in trouble here in America. This is in Colorado. This is that girl who was arrested because apparently she was going to aid and abet terrorists, this 19-year-old in Colorado. The guy you're going to hear talking is the pastor from her church.
A Colorado teen is in jail tonight accused of assisting the terrorist group ISIS. Investigators busted 19-year-old Shannon Conley at the Denver International Airport. They say she was trying to head to Turkey, where she planned to meet an active member of al-Qaeda and ISIS. She became engaged to a 32-year-old man after meeting him online and described herself as a Muslim convert interested in guerrilla warfare. Investigators say Conley actually joined the U.S. Army last year to learn more about military tactics and firearms so she could wage a holy war on America.
When she first showed up, it became obvious.
This is the pastor.
That she stood out just from the apparel that she was wearing. She was carrying a backpack.
Whoa.
And she had a notebook pad out and taking notes at different places. So that alerts us right away. She became a little bit more hostile. Then eventually we came to her and said, listen, it's just probably better that you not come back.
Conley now faces charges of terrorism.
This is the pastor, and they're showing his church. And these guys are all in. They have a direct line to the.
For him.
Okay. All right.
I'm on his side.
Please.
He sees something. He said something.
Exactly.
If you see something, say something.
That's how it works. So I was watching this. I didn't realize that Niagara Falls is a scam. This is a part of a long report that has some old clips and there's some new clips, and it's a very interesting little scam story.
Engineers are always on guard for signs of erosion, ready to dynamite away sections when cracks appear in the lip, a telltale mark of danger.
People come to Niagara Falls because they believe they're seeing something natural, but the falls has been completely manipulated. About 2/3 of the water is now going through pipes. It's not going over the falls anymore. So in a sense, when you look at the Niagara Falls, you're not looking at something natural. You're certainly not looking at what people looked at in the 19th century.
Now, if they wanted to, they could remove 85% of the water from above the falls, if they wanted to. But by treaty with Canada, the United States agreed in 1950 that they would only take out, at most, 75%.
The treaty specifies that approximately 45 million gallons per minute must be flowing over the falls by 8 o'clock in the morning during the tourist season.
They needed to reshape the bed of the Niagara River above the falls, and so they built cofferdams and deepened certain parts of the river above the falls and where the intakes were for the power plants.
To assist in this planning, a hydraulic model of the Niagara River was built at the Corps of Engineers Waterways Experiment Station. This comparison, showing the original conditions on the bottom portion of the picture and those of the final plan in the top portion, points up the improvements, particularly on the Goat Island Plain.
During the fall, winter, and early spring, when you go to the falls, you're only seeing 25% of the water going over the falls that could be going over.
I didn't know any of this.
I didn't know any of this either. Now I feel like I've been gypped.
Hey, that's racist.
It's ridiculous.
Interesting.
And so this is who's running this? Walt Disney? So they've rigged the fall, so it's just a bull crap exhibition. Apparently, it must have been spectacular with like 3x more stuff going on.
Now, it was Tesla who originally harvested and harnessed, I guess, the initial hydro energy from Niagara Falls and turned it and with the turbines and created the actual the first power plant. I know that, but I doubt he put all these bogative pipes and everything in place. That's weird. That's strange.
Yeah, I feel now as I was scammed when I went. I saw the Niagara Falls. Well, I've seen it a number of times from an airplane.
Yeah. I've been there.
I've been there, but I was only there on the Canada side. I've never been there from the Buffalo, New York side.
I've been on the Buffalo, New York side only.
Yeah, but now I feel I didn't have any idea this was a complete bull crap. Bull crap. What else we got here?
Well, I'm ready to wrap up. Let me see. I'll throw some things.
You get
at
the last thing. You got that last whatever what it is going to be. I do want to play this clip because it's going to get old. This is the Obama will do things without Congress clip, where I just thought he sounded like he wanted to be Hitler.
I believe Speaker Boehner when he says he wants to pass an immigration bill.
Now, just so you know, you actually just compared the president to potentially wanting to be like Hitler.
Did I?
Yeah, and that's
the end of the show.
That is kind of a showstopper when you say something like that.
Yeah, it probably was a mistake.
I'm just letting you know.
I think he genuinely wants to get something done. But last week, he informed me the Republicans will continue to block a vote on immigration reform, at least for the remainder of this year. Some in the House Republican caucus are using the situation with unaccompanied children as their newest excuse to do nothing. America cannot wait forever for them to act. And that's why today I'm beginning a new effort to fix as much of our immigration system as I can on my own, without Congress. If House Republicans are really concerned about me taking too many executive actions, the best solution to that is passing bills.
Yeah. Do as I say.
Pass a bill. Solve a problem.
Do as I say.
He's high.
Telling you.
He's high.
He's high on brownies.
He's high, and I have proof. I have proof.
Finally, I have to mention a man who's made life at the White House very sweet. This is one of Michelle and my favorite people, our executive pastry chef, Bill Yosis, who's here tonight with his husband, Charlie. Where's Bill? So,
But he's leaving.
This is the problem. We call Bill the crust master because his pies, I don't know what he does, whether he puts crack in them or...
Yeah. And then Michelle says...
Yeah, no, here, I got it. I got it. Here.
But...
No, he doesn't. There is no crack in our pies.
There's no crack in our pies. Drat the luck.
I had that clip too.
I've had it for a couple days.
Yeah.
That was funny. It's funny.
It's very funny. In fact, I'm surprised we didn't play it before.
It's because we get busy. Now, do you want to do any tech stuff before we leave, seeing as, the situation?
What tech stuff do you want to talk about? In a situation where I've been benched?
Yeah, like that one.
That situation.
Yeah. I figured.
There's no tech news this week, and no new phones came.
Yes, so. I have
no new phone.
Is there a new phone out, John? Well, there's a great new website that I found.
Yeah, okay.
Called whatthefuckismywearablestrategy.com.
Oh, jeez.
Here we go. Let me see if I get. It's all kind of rank. If you refresh, you get a new one. Let me see. Call Robert Scoble. I just invented a pair of sunglasses that glistens when you run 10K. It's all things like this. It's a pretty cool website.
Yeah.
I just invented a jumper that trembles when you have a pint at lunch. Yeah, a little wearable.
British. Must be British.
Some of it is, yeah. Matt Cutts, the grand gentleman of Google. We all know him.
Yeah.
He is on indefinite leave.
Why?
He says he wanted to spend more time with his family, and he's going to. Yeah,
Nobody says that unless it's bullshit.
Well, he said that he had promised his wife. I think she'd threatened to leave him or something.
I'm leaving.
And he said he's going to be gone until at least October, maybe longer. And he's the guy that essentially puts the whole thing in the. Kills your business. If you have a business that's based on Google, then he's the one that kills you, right?
Yeah, he's the guy.
Okay.
He's the Killmeister.
Google has killed Orkut.
Yeah, that's weird. I guess the Brazilians are the one that kept supporting that thing.
Yeah, the Brazilian, wasn't it the transgendered community?
Just everything. Brazilian.
Well, here's the thing that I think will be a major topic on all of the tech news. And it's been launched by TechCrunch. And it's a movement. People are getting mad. It's called Stop the Jerk Tech. Are you going to play bongos? You want to just
keep going? I'm punching it up for you.
So there's an anger brewing about tech startups like Parking Monkey and Reservation Hop. Are you familiar with these
yes,
apps?
I am.
Okay. So the idea is that these are disruptive apps that screw with people by essentially capitalizing on huge, obvious loopholes to put homeless people in parking spaces to reserve your spot. And it's kind of like Silicon Valley is going, that's not funny, guys. Really, this is not, you got to stop the jerk tech. You really, let's talk about phones. Let's get some new phones and some GPS systems and some wearables and smartwatches, but you can't be doing this. Get rid of the jerk tech. And I'm thinking, I'm all for this jerk tech. I think jerk tech is great.
I like it.
We should have more.
The idea.
What else can we come up with of stuff that is just annoyingly useful?
I don't know. We can start a company.
That's what I mean. It'll be, jerktech.com. Oh, I should have registered that. I'm too late now. Maybe I'm not.
Huh. Okay.
So anyway, that's the tech news. And there's no new phones this week.
Oh, no. What are they going to do?
I don't know.
What's everyone going to talk about?
I think we'll talk about Android L.
Android L. That would be good.
Do you know what that? I have no idea.
No, I have no idea.
Android L. I think that will be the new one.
Okay.
Do your last story, and then I'll see if I can get this.
Oh, well, let's see. We got. Well, let's play this crazy clip. This is part of this Michael Elliott again talking about pot. This is the call-in show on C-SPAN. So some guy calls in, some stoner calls in, talking about all the and then Elliott actually explains a couple of things. Then he throws a couple of bombs at the end, and I mentioned these two bombs at the end to Mimi, and she said it's got to be bullcrap. I have not been able to document this either.
I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to play.
This would be the pot and hemp diatribe with Michael Elliott.
Yes, here we go.
By being illegal, actually, we're hurting the miners. And also now, Mr. Elliott, what I want to ask you here is we're all worried about monies and factories and everything else. Marijuana is probably the top, number one, green energy that America can produce and reproduce every year. Being the first diesel motor was made to run off of hemp diesel, we could produce marijuana diesel, start running it in our refineries, in our trucks, in our diesel motors, and it's a multi-trillion, not billion, trillion-dollar turnaround for this country. Now, being Colorado is a step ahead of everybody else, I hope that you can take this and look into it. Get into this energy, not just smoking it, not just people feeling good by using it, but there's 1,000 sources what to do with marijuana, and it's not just the smoke.
Caller, thanks. Michael Elliott, go ahead.
Shut up.
When Amendment 64 passed, it really had three different sections. One was decriminalizing marijuana, so it's no longer legal to possess it. The second part was creating this business regulatory framework, and the third part had to do with allowing the growing of hemp, of industrial hemp. And Colorado is implementing that aspect of the program right now as well. It's new, and we're going to have to wait to see how it goes. But I would agree with the caller that hemp is a pretty amazing agricultural item. And a few fun facts: our Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper. Our original American flag was made out of hemp. So many things have been made out of hemp that, a couple years ago I would not have believed. It didn't make any sense to me. But clothing and food items and so many other items, and certainly energy. There's actually a hemp house being made here in Colorado, which it's my understanding that the entire house is going to be made out of hemp, except for the glass.
That's true. Hemp burns hotter than coal.
Well, the thing about the diesel, apparently Rudolf Diesel, who died in 1913, invented the diesel engine, has it named after him. I don't, the claim that he used hemp oil.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's true either.
It comes from hempcard.org. If you go there, a lot of this stuff comes from there. I think hempcard.org is making stuff up. I'm not sure. I'm going to look into there's three assertions in here. One is that the first diesel engine, which would be Rudolph's little invention, was powered on hemp. It would have to be hemp oil. And then I'm not buying that the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper, because it would have been written on parchment, because it was that kind of a document. And then the flag made out of hemp, I'm not sure of that either. I think this is a myth.
It's also completely unimportant. It's being used to pander to a certain audience, and I think that, dude, man, the Declaration of Independence, man, they wrote that shit and then they smoked it, and then they made copies on papyrus.
Declaration of Independence, and you get a buzz,
right, man? And then they had to make copies, and that's why that's on papyrus, because they smoked the original, man. Don't you know that? Come on, man. Yeah, and the diesel
came to burning the flag. There was a reason for it.
The guys I think he saw Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. I think that's but
the only voice we can do.
My understanding is true that hemp does burn hotter than coal, and of course it is a magical plant, and I'm all for it. And it was of course outlawed because wasn't it Hearst who said, "Hey, I got all these tree farms, and I can't be having people making it out of weed."
From that crap.
Yeah, I know. The crazy Mexicans are smoking it, coming to kill you. I think they should bring that one back. That's the way to go. Just blame it on the crazy Mexicans smoking the weed.
All right. I guess that's about as far as we can go today.
It is. We will be back on Thursday, of course, with another edition of the best podcast in the universe. Coming up, the final end of show clip, which I guess I've reinstated. I'm sorry, I didn't know I'd banned it.
You did.
Well, John Cleese explaining to us, Americans, the difference between football and football and why we don't understand it here. And until then, I say that I'm coming to you from FIBA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's sunny and mild, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda.
The wonderful thing about football is how creative it is. And this is why it has never caught on in America. You see, in America, the action is deliberately kept short so that the sponsors can get in as many commercials as possible. And also so that the players don't have to think for too long. They get instructions from the quarterback, who has, in turn, received them from the offensive coach. So no one has to think for themselves. This is the Dick Cheney version of creativity, otherwise known as doing exactly what you're told. So you get 4 seconds of extremely violent action, and then the only genuinely creative activity involved, a beer commercial. So American football is played like a series of advertising jingles, while soccer is played like jazz. And while we're on the subject, why do the Americans insist on calling it soccer? Why do they have such a problem calling it football? It's a game played with a ball that is struck with the foot. Hence, football. You see? Are you following this, America? The clue is in the title. It's not that difficult. Whereas American football, as they call it, is a game where an object that's not really a ball at all, it's the wrong shape for a ball, is carried around by hand and occasionally thrown for other people to catch in their hands. You see? Only one person in each team is allowed to actually kick the ball, and they have to be specially brought onto the field to do it. I suppose, in its own way, that is a form of creativity. It's quite a creative use of language, saying one thing and meaning something completely different.
Dude. I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
Bingo, boom, shakalaka.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA